And we are live, Cooperville Live on a Wednesday afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. We have a absolutely huge show coming up today. Lots of things to get to. So thank you for joining wherever you are. If you're tuned in on Facebook Live, thank you. If you're tuned in on our YouTube channel, it's youtube.com/Cooperville, and also on the Twitch. It's where all the kids hang out. I'm really just trying to bring myself, make myself feel younger. I'm like, I know Twitch. I totally know. I'm on the Twitch. When you put the in front of everything, it's like calling it the Twitter or the Facebook. It makes you, it just makes you sound younger. But twitch.tv/NoLimitCooper if you're going browser based. But big show coming up today. Moments away from the 2022 Wisconsin gubernatorial candidate, Jonathan Wichmann. I see him in the green room. We're going to get to him in just a couple of minutes. So we have him coming up. Lots to discuss. The fight rages on, and we have to keep it going. As we talked to Cal Woodman yesterday, running for city council on the program, we talked a lot about that. It's not the time to lay off of the gasoline here. We got to put the pedal down a little bit. So lots to get to with Jonathan Wichmann coming up in just a bit, and my longtime friend, fabulous talent, singer, songwriter, musician. Just overall stellar human being, hanging out in Hotlanta. Rachel Lorin is going to be on the program coming up later on this afternoon. A couple things to get to before we start the show. Yes, we are. I had to borrow a laptop. My laptop decided it wasn't feeling up to the challenge yesterday, so I got something to fill the gap here, thanks to my girlfriend Nicole. So I appreciate it. Speaking of that, so last night, you ever have these moments when you're trying to find something to watch? Like, I need to unwind from the day. I work I get up in the morning, work out, do my thing, go to work, get done, come home, have something to eat, and then prep for this show, and then do this for 3 hours, and spend 3 hours afterwards in post prep doing editing and stuff like that. So it's a full day. So at the end of it, you want to try to find something to numb the brain a little bit. But the issue always is trying to find something to watch. You have this debate. I have this. This is a constant. We spend more time trying to figure out what to watch than actually watching that program. We're like, well, it took us an hour to figure this out, and now we got 20 minutes, and it's time to go to bed. So we're scrolling through the Amazon Prime last night to see what's out there. I feel like I've watched a lot of documentaries on Netflix, and I'm trying to learn less. So anyway, we come across this show, Man in the High Castle, on Amazon Prime, and it came out in 2015. And maybe I'd heard of it, but I was like, yeah, this looks kind of interesting. It's a series. Mind blown. How is this not on my radar? It's crazy. If you haven't seen it, again, it's on Amazon Prime. It's called Man in the High Castle. If you have an Amazon Prime subscription, I think it's free to watch. So I would go and check that out. It's basically a series. I think they're about an hour each episode. So it's a series, and it's all about if World War II hadn't gone our way and what that looked like. And then there's this rebellion. So it's got that, I'm a Star Wars geek. It's like that. Ooh, we got the rebels. The rebel scum are coming up to make things right and to make the world a better place. But we were only a couple episodes in. We got 2 in last night, and I don't know, Man in the High Castle on Amazon Prime for recommendations outside of watching this fantastic program, as you should be doing every day. I see we got lots of people jumping on Facebook and on YouTube as well. Joe's watching on Twitch. Hey, buddy, welcome back to the program. Feel free to jump on again in the comments, whatever platform you're watching on. If you're on Facebook or on YouTube or on Twitch, whatever platform you're on, jump on the comments and let us know where you're watching from. Let us know. I don't know. Ask questions. Give us a temperature. Predict if JJ Watt's coming to the Packers. I mean, important stuff. These are the things that keep me up at night. This is really cool. So everybody knows, if you watch this show, if you listen to the Welcome to Cooperville podcast, Kyle Yude's a longtime friend of mine. And Kyle's been on the live show, I think twice now. Kyle's doing great things, and Kyle actually introduced me to my first guest on the show. I didn't even pay Kyle to like say good things about me to Jonathan Wichmann. Like he's like, I talked you up a little bit. I'm like, well, like don't set the bar too high, you know. But he was kind enough to connect us, and we had some great conversations, and set up today for a good day for him to come on and chat about all things going on. He is running for the governor of the state of Wisconsin in the year 2022, which is already coming next year. Jonathan Wichmann, he is here. He is now, my friend. Welcome to the program.
Hey, Cooper, how are you?
I am well. Sorry you had to sit backstage and listen to me rant on about my television watching habits.
I love it. I love that you're talking about Castle, the show on Prime. I've kind of watched a few episodes too. It was very interesting. But I was laughing because my wife and I, same thing, figuring out what to watch, and by the time it's time to go to bed,
And the toughest part is, especially in the streaming world we live in, is you get those previews, and you're like watching the preview, you're like it's 2 minutes long, and I don't know, but what's the next preview going to be? And like I said, you waste an hour just trying to find something to watch on TV, and
right.
Never.
Well, I'm stoked to be on the show, man. I'm amped up. I love your hat, by the way. Lions Not Sheep.
Sean Wallen, man. Sean Wallen, Lions Not Sheep clothing company. They do great things.
That's great.
He's actually going to be on the show. I think we're working on him for next week. So he's a guy with a lot to say. So we're looking forward to that, and really excited to have you on. And I'm thankful to Kyle Utes for making the connection between the two of us and for getting on the platform. And to all of you, I know you shared the story on your social medias, and a lot of people share that. So hopefully they jump in and get a chance to watch what's going on. And we have a lot to cover.
Yeah, we do.
A lot to cover. And I feel like and we gave ourselves about an hour. I feel like we're going to have you back on, because the landscape is ever changing. There's always something new. There's always changes. But a lot of the great things that I want to talk to you about, and we'll get to some of those. But I want to talk about, you finding your way into the political arena. It's one of those tough choices, I think, as a citizen, like sitting back and you kind of watch politics, and it kind of happens, mostly on the screen. More recently, it happens on your social media feeds, and it seems like sometimes the only real conversations that happen in tweets or in comments back and forth on Facebook. There's no real long form conversation that happens. But when you're kind of getting to a point where you're making a decision to involve yourself in politics, what pushes you into that sort of commitment? Because you really are. You're making, it's not like, I got a job doing, I got a degree in this, I think I'm going to go and do this. But you're committed to it, but you can always opt out. This is like being committed to really a job that's 24 hours a day. Things happen at all hours of the night. You have to be at the ready. You have to be knowledgeable. You have to study what's going on. So what pushes
you would think that, but the current governor we have, I don't know if that was the credentials that we're,
Some people operate a 24-hour day, some perhaps less. I'll put it at that. But what pushes you into this?
To answer your question, I've always followed politics for a long time, but I'm more of an economics and finance guy, Wall Street. So over the years in my corporate career, I've worked for many different companies in different industries, made a lot of great contacts, but more specifically, Wall Street. I've been studying a few mentors that they go way back to the 2008 financial crisis. And so the best advice I ever got was follow the money, because that will typically lead you to the truth, So about 12 years ago, just kind of watching everything. I was a product of the 2008 collapse, coming out of college, trying to find your first job. I understand the struggle. I've been on unemployment for a year. I've been through the same, rigmarole as most people in America. So I can totally relate to people who, have different political views, Democrat, Republican. I understand these issues. And, for the longest time, though, I'm very concerned. I love history. So I go back and I look at history, and I'm just seeing America make the same mistakes and follow the same path as other countries over the years, that ultimately ended up into not just socialism, but communism, and just the tragedy that happens to humanity under that kind of regime, And what bothers me the most, there's so many men and women who have died for this country and our freedom, who have made the ultimate sacrifice. And I'm asking myself, looking at what we have before us, what for? What did they do this for if we are just going to give up this most precious gift of freedom, and the way our founding fathers set it up? What was it all for? And it didn't sit right inside of my soul, and my heart. And so looking at the leadership or lack thereof, not just in DC, but, here at the local state level as well, the status quo of politics may have worked and been fine decades ago, even 8 years ago. Okay. We are in a whole new paradigm shift. So the standard politics is not going to work. And unfortunately, who the establishment, the GOP, Dems on both sides, who they have queued up are these very typical status quo people. The big warning red flag that really brought me into this is I've been training for this moment in time. People don't understand this. They think I'm new. I am new to politics, but I'm not new to the overall scene of what's going on, not only with the state, but the country as a whole. And again, it goes back to economics, but September of 2019, something major broke. I don't know if most people might feel it if you're kind of aware. We're kind of in this little twilight zone that there's a magic money tree, and just whatever the problem is, doesn't matter where, big daddy government can just take a blank check and write the figure and just throw it there, right? But all people like you and I, we have to get up and we have to go to a job every day. We have to produce to actually earn. Wall Street, big corporate elites, politicians, it doesn't seem like those same rules apply to them, right? And I never understood exactly what that was all about until I really dived deep into studying it. And so I'm a patriot. I always tell people I'm a patriot. I'm not a politician. I love this country. And so when I got involved, I realized that, the system did a really good job in dumbing down Americans. And so the typical voter, people vote for the most strange things. They're like, oh, I vote because I like how this person looks. And that's about the end of it. They don't really study anything other than that. Some people are more involved. Okay. And I encourage that. I realized that I'm going to have to educate people. For the people of Wisconsin to select someone like me who really will bring real change for the better of humanity and we the people, I have to first educate you on this game that I call them the elite, the globalists, that they've been playing on humanity for such a long time, really ever since the assassination of JFK. So I'm taking all this and I'm here to protect lives. There's a real big weapon of mass destruction within the financial system that when that hammer drops, the pain and misery and suffering and poverty that's going to hit the people of Wisconsin, it's very real. It's already happening. And if you have people like Tony Evers and other ones in that kind of style of leadership, it's not going to cut it. And people are going to actually lose their lives when this all falls apart.
It seems like in the last 8, maybe 12 years, maybe prior to that, Wisconsin was always on a national scale. It felt like it was a flyover state. It happened. It's here. If you live here, if you were lucky enough to be born here, and you've survived, you can survive winters here. Yeah, it makes you hardy, makes you strong. But in the political arena, it really never felt that we were this major player in on the national level and even on a statewide level. A lot of things were, we existed,
right?
But it seems like in the last 8 to 12 years, all of a sudden, like we are this hugely important state. Mm-hmm. It gets brought up, on election night. They're always watching us. When they're doing post-election coverage, everything always says, well, and the state of Wisconsin. It's like Florida, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin always seem to be the states that are kind of part of this crucial, can flip things one way or the other. What do you think happened over the course of the last, I'll say 12 years. I'll go back 12 and say all of a sudden we became this really important piece. We saw it here. I mean, living in the Eau Claire area, during the 2016 presidential campaign, we had like 4 of the major candidates in our city over the course of like 48 hours. Something you never seen before, but all of a sudden the state is this huge, playing chip. What has changed in the state, in your opinion, that has made us? Because obviously it is on a national level, but something has altered in the state itself and made it this big card that both sides are trying to play with.
Honestly, that's a great question. Even digging into it, I'm not sure exactly what changed. I mean, Wisconsin doesn't, it's not like we give up a ton of electoral votes, in the grand scheme of thing. And the politics or nature of politics within the state, I feel, I've lived here 35 years, but, in adult life, has always been, I would say, mildly on the side of being conservative. You have the middle of the road, just slightly conservative, I would say. Wisconsin has leaned. I mean, obviously, you have Milwaukee and Madison and a few other places that tend to be, left and liberal. I mean, that's always been the case. But far west, up north of Wisconsin, reality is these are hardworking people, that understand reality, and they know, okay, the value of a buck. They don't like to be overtaxed. They understand these things. So typically, they lean conservative and vote Republican. The challenge, that I'm seeing, though, that's been bothersome is the Republican Party and the Democrat. They're, apart from some few things, they don't look too different, really. I think why Trump really, became president and took off was because people were tired of the standard politics, and Trump came across and did actually was for the people, and people resonate with that. They felt that he's a doer. That's the same thing I am. I don't like to talk a whole lot. I like to do. Even as a candidate, I know people don't understand. Behind the scenes, I am having conversations with real key representatives in Madison to get things done, like the Senate Joint Resolution to knock down Tony Evers' illegal, endless emergency mandates. The guy is operating as a king right now. And what really bothers me the most is the Supreme Court is sitting on this. The people have spoken. Both houses have voted, we're done with this. And I know the mask mandate's a little sliver of that. I don't want to get caught up on the mask mandate, but no government, no person should tell you you have to wear a mask. You have to take a vaccine. That's un-American. That's not what it's about. So we got that done, but we have Brian Hagedorn and others just sitting there not ruling. The rule of law is not being followed, and that's what's really concerning to me.
I think it's concerning to a lot of us in the state. I mean, you see groups like Recipes for Freedom that Kyle's a big part of, and it's not just
excellent job, by the way. Kyle's doing an excellent job.
And it's not just even Kyle's group. I mean, it's part of this network. And I mentioned this yesterday talking to Kyle Woodman, who's running for city council, and he said it's not just Recipes for Freedom, who has almost 8,000 members of it. It's this connected group of people who are all, first and foremost, educating themselves, learning the constitutional law, finding out all these, okay, even if you start off as just curious about like, hey, well, it feels like things are being infringed upon, but am I not? And people are really starting to get active and involved, which I think is great. And that these groups continue to grow. And I think it's maybe didn't start off as just a whisper, but the volume of people's voices, I think, is definitely starting to grow. And I think you being somebody who, is advocating to be, kind of the megaphone for all the voices that are out there that are maybe being silenced, maybe being pushed down or even bullied on social media because of what they believe in and the things that they see. It's really great to have somebody who's out there and having conversations and engaging with the people that are in these groups, because I do think the reality is that at some point something is going to change, and either it's going to change with hopefully in a very easy way, and there's conversation and the majority, we the people, are heard. But you hope it doesn't come down to other things where, I mean, we're living in a tense time, Jonathan.
Yeah, I know what you're alluding to, and I agree with you on that. That's why I got involved too, because I want to use the system and try to make the change in a peaceful manner. But if they keep pushing their luck and they go down a path, I don't know where everyone's line in the sand is. I know where my line in the sand is drawn before I use Second Amendment. I've spoken, I speak to not frequently, but Brian Style, he's kind of my connection up in DC, their congressman, to what's going on. I know everyone's concerned about HR 127, the gun laws, right? Yep. He seems to believe that that's not going to get any traction. It's not going to go anywhere. But as we've seen from the last 12 months, things that we never would have thought of that have taken place have, right? So we have to be careful and always be guarding against that, not just say, oh, that could never happen. So be vigilant and be watching, because That's a line in the sand for a lot of people. My concern is, though, you have these gun groups, these guys that are big Second Amendment. They always ask me, Jonathan, are you for constitutional carry? How this, how big is your gun? You got AK-40, 7, all these different guns, right? And then these guys walk into stores with masks on still. They're right. Okay, you're a big tough guy, but you're still wearing your mask. But you can't make a stand there. But you're going to fire back when someone's coming to take your guns. Maybe, I don't know.
I gotta protect this beard. You start putting a mask on it, it starts to fold funny. I mean, it took a lot of time, man.
Yeah.
For that, reading HR 127 in depth. Went through it line by line as a gun owner myself. More recently, and talking to, the guy that I go to for gun questions, seeing those numbers in 2020 and how they went up. It really makes you feel like people, even maybe quietly, maybe not super vocal, maybe not being very brash about it. There's plenty of those people that are on
right.
the social medias or on the news or whatever. But I think people are the same people that are starting to join these patriot groups are going, if you would have told me 18 months ago that I was going to be forced, all these things were going to happen, and I was going to lose my job, or I was going to be, my kids were going to be sent out from school, like, you would have been like, there's no way, like, this isn't going to happen. But I think people are saying, well, we need to be semi-prepared, because things we thought could never happen or out of the realm of possibility are now literally we're living through it right now, which is,
I say every gun sale is a vote for freedom. That's what it comes down to. And it's funny, even Democrats, who maybe outward say, oh, I'm gun control, I'm for gun control, even they're buying guns. Okay, what's that telling you? I mean, it's just human nature to want to be able to defend yourself and your family, from not just intruders, but your own government. That's what people don't understand in history. It's your own government that comes and gets you at the end when it's not checked and grows to this size. Obviously,
COVID-19 is I mean, it's still leading the headlines. It's still every story. It still has an effect on.
Exactly.
I mean, everything else has been eradicated. I mean, we're good with the flu now. Like, we're good. Yeah. Like, we kicked the flu's ass, so we're good there. But I think COVID-19 and its effect on the economy it's weird. There's a weird feeling. Like, sometimes you can go out and I guess we're better off than some states. We're worse off than some states. So sometimes you can go out and you can be like, oh, I guess it seems semi-normal. I still see people, the construction industry is still thriving. They're still I'm like, where are all these people moving from? They know 47 below zero on Sunday. Like, who's flying in to be a part of this? But so there's some industry that's still, I mean, at least still working, but it feels like the effect on the economy that we've been living through for, 11 and a half months to flatten the curve now.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to do? This seems like the go-to is throw money at people. It's throw money at people. Let's talk about throwing money at people. That's really what it is. It's like, we'll talk about it, and people will kind of rest on their laurels on that. Like, well, it's going to be okay because this is going to happen. And then obviously people have to wait, and they get, things get not in a good position. What can we do to start to at least look at some bounce back, to look at getting back to some sort of something that improves the economy?
Sure. Okay. So this is where, I excel, and this is where I tell the truth to people. I want to tell everyone right now that after the 2008 financial crisis, the United States economy and financial markets have actually been on life support. Okay. Mm-hmm. The reason how I know this is because the Federal Reserve has kept interest rates at or near 0% since then. That's unheard of. That's never been done before. What that really is signaling is the cost of money, or the value of your labor, is actually priced in at zero. So we are operating under the illusion that everything is fine. And that's why, you said, that was a false recovery. The only reason we kind of had this, what seemed like recovery was because of that. The problem is, all that did was blow major bubbles within almost every asset class. Before, leading up to 2008, it was the mortgage-backed securities. It was just the home mortgages, right? Now it's reinfected home mortgages again. I mean, you look at some of the prices on these homes, based on square footage, there's maybe a lot of square footage, but everything else, interior is old. There's nothing really done to these houses. The valuations are sky high through the roof. I mean, just even my own condo that I'm living in, right? I'm like, what? I didn't do anything here. Why is this, gone up, $80,000? It makes no sense. Yeah, right? It was crazy. So you have that. You have the You have the stock market. What's dangerous about this is you go back way, back in the day, when interest rates were what we call normal, 6%, somewhere around there. The little old grandma, whoever who had a savings account, she put her money in her savings bank. It paid her 6% interest, every year. No risk. You just had her savings account. It rewarded savers. Somewhere along the way, that whole thing got flipped to say, okay, we're rewarding spenders. We want you to spend, and we want you to spend every last dime you have. And that's because America, when we sold out to China, when all manufacturing's gone over there, right, we turned into nothing but a consumer economy. And now it's a consumer based on debt economy. So we are completely hollowed out. And like I said, the big warning flag for me was in September 2019, because there's a company called interbank lending rate, and these banks swap each other's collateral. So the collateral that they usually swap is your mortgage-backed security and United States Treasury. And this was what was scary to me, is the United States Treasury always seemed as a safe haven, could never fail. It's the government, right? That's what we always say. Right, yeah. The banks that swap this collateral, they sniffed out each other's collateral, and they didn't trust it. So it flashed one night. It flashed to 10%. So one bank said, I'll only take that collateral from you for 24 hours if you pay me a premium of 10% on that. So what that was saying is interest rates been suppressed so long that we don't even know where the normalized interest rate should be anymore, because the market has not been able to find fair value, because the Federal Reserve has interjected trillions of dollars to suppress the fair market value. So the concerning point about that was they had to hide it. And then, of course, we saw coronavirus, the whole propaganda movement out of Wuhan, China. Funny thing about that, Wuhan is open, no face masks, they're clubbing, they're not social distancing. Wow, what happened there?
Interesting.
Yeah. So there's agenda shift here. The financials in America, straight up, I'm telling you, are terrible. We're on a house of cards. There is a nuclear bomb in the system. And when that hammer drops, it's going to be really, really bad. And it's not something we can just quickly recover from. Every tactic the Federal Reserve has used has already been used up. Okay. So we're in a dangerous cross point. And states budgets are very actually dependent on a lot of these federal programs. The federal government gives money to them, I call it bribe money, for a lot of things, right? If the states didn't have the extra money to work with, their budgets would have to contract. And a lot of these extra programs that people think should be there or take for granted, they have to be cut. They're gone. There's no way you can finance them, right? Unless you elevate taxes. See, taxes is the honest way to pay for something, right? Inflation is the dishonest, hidden way, but it's still a tax on the people.
Right. When you talk about this bomb that's in the system, and it's things like, I'm guessing if the trajectory that we're on right now continues to go the way it is going, that will eventually become a major issue. Is there?
Yeah, within the next 2 years, it's going to manifest. I don't see them being able to kick the can down the road further than 2 years.
Is there something to compare it to? I mean, can you compare it to 2008? Is it worse than
it's 2008 times 100. Yeah, it's not, and no one wants to hear this. And this is, but I have to tell the truth. I have to prepare people to understand. Here's what's up. So now we have Joe Biden as president. He killed the Keystone Pipeline. Okay, the whole energy independence of America has been brought to his knees. Saudi Arabia can pump oil out of the ground for like $10 a barrel. It's nothing, right? So they have that advantage, that blessing, if you will. So without cheap energy, we see what's going on in Texas right now. Texas and California that did the Green New Deal, and we're going to make everything based on windmills, right? And then they get one little polar freeze, and they don't spend the money for the de-icing, and 4 million people are without power in one of the coldest times, they ever had. That's just that, okay? So the energy thing there, now we have oil. I just checked oil prices, $61 a barrel. I'm looking based on the patterns, and we're at $85 to $100 a barrel, possibly by summer. That's going to elevate, and that's get this. So the dollar index, is in a basket of currencies, other global currencies, right, that you compare against. It's funny because it's not really pegged to anything meaningful like gold. It's just the debt IOUs and the GDP of these countries, right? That's all it's about. But that's a basket of currencies. The dollar has enjoyed a massive purchasing power increase for way too long. We don't produce enough to qualify us to have the dollar have that kind of purchasing power. And China, actually, we keep blaming China as their currency manipulator, blah, blah, blah. China actually has been giving America a gift for running full steam to send their goods, whether they're cheap garbage goods, wherever they are, that we consume in Walmart, Target, right, for a long time, basically for nothing. the reality. We haven't really given China anything to equal. Look at our trade deficit. It just keeps growing. A trade deficit means we are not equalizing the exporting back, right, to our trading partner to that should be a net zero. That should balance out. That should be like this. It shouldn't be like this. Okay. And it's even worse. I have, some people have said right on the docks with those big crates on the cargo ships coming in, it's a 3-to-1 exchange. Actually, they're supposed to wait a few weeks so we can put our stuff on there and ship them back up. They can't. They don't have enough shipping containers. They got to turn those ships right back around too and get them back to China because there's more stuff coming here. So the American economy has gone from a manufacturing to a service-based pre-COVID. Okay, the breakdown, give or take, was about 60% service-based, 40% production is what the United States economy is. Well, you know what happened with the lockdowns, right? All that stuff, that all got wiped out. The service sector's, the service is gone, 60%. That's why within 2 weeks, people had their hands out to the government. Give me my stimulus money. I need PPP loans. I need this all. I have nothing. If there was no money coming in from the federal government, there was no stops on being kicked out of their houses, like these mortgage, right, and rent. If that all wasn't in play, you would have millions of people on the street right now, if not dying from being frozen in Wisconsin. Millions. They're out of their houses. Nothing. Done. Bankrupt. See, that's the danger point. When a country, I could go on. I'm cut me off anytime, Cooper.
I'm learning.
The reason why America has to go into this draconian, high, super authoritarian method is because they understand at some point they're not going to be able to keep juggling all these balls in the air. And they're going to have the people accept a militarized presence on the street to suppress, because there's going to be rioting, looting, crime, shoot, right? People are desperate. When you lose everything, you lose it. So they need that kind of force shown there, because people are going to blame the government, the banks, and rightly so. You should blame them. Just look at our state level and what they haven't done for the people of Wisconsin for the last 10 months. It wasn't until I got in the scene and started shaking and rattling and calling these people out did they kind of start moving. My biggest problem with the Republican Party is they are not proactive. They are reactive. They will sit on their hands, collect their check, and do nothing until something gets so bad that finally they kind of have to do something. That's not how I work. I will never, I'll tell us right now, whoever's watching this, all my voters, new people, I will never politicize your lives to make a point. I truly believe beneath the scenes, the Republican Party sat on their hands to let the Democrats implode and let people suffer under Democrat, rule, to say, hey, this is how bad they are, right? But that's not what you should be doing. You should be doing the right thing no matter what. And so I know educating people is the first step. That's why I have tons of podcasts. I don't know if you saw hours of podcasts and videos on every topic you could want on my Facebook, YouTube, trying to show people where to look. Here's where the system is completely broken. The system's a house of cards. All right. It's not a figurehead who's a governor or a senator. It's the system that is screwing everyone over. If you're not part of the elite, if you're not a billionaire, you're going to be part of the uber poor class. We're going to a two-tier society, just like Venezuela, just like USSR, all this stuff. It's not good.
I know you have, so many great points in there and things that people should be taking note of. And, the challenge I'm guessing for you is people always, they're like that. That could never happen. Like, for some reason, we have completely forgotten like history. I'm not sure if they stopped. They seemingly taught it when I was in school. Maybe they stopped teaching it now. I don't know. But people always seem to have a, it's going to be fine. Things will even out. But there seems to be this tick towards something bad happening. And there hasn't been any peel back of that ticking towards something bad in quite a while. Maybe since COVID's been going on, maybe since it's been, it's a lot more battles than it is actual progress that seemingly happen. There's no bipartisanship. There's just, there's constant infighting and little guys, little gals, and the rest of America, that seems to kind of live in this middle space, kind of is going. I feel like something bad's going to happen. Anybody out there want to let us in? I think that's why it's great when you say that. I'm just going to be honest. It's something that people aren't necessarily used to, and sometimes they can kind of catch them off guard.
Yeah, 50 million of Americans are they're on some sort of government welfare program, whether rent assistance, food, doesn't matter. 50 million, give or take, pre-COVID, again, about 140, 150 million is the working actually people employ, right? There's a website called Shadow Stats, and it's a guy that goes back to 80s and Reagan era, how they track unemployment. The federal government has rigged numbers and stats. They lie with stats. That's what they do to make things seem like it's not so bad. When you've been unemployed for a certain time and you reach your maximum time, right, and you still haven't found employment, you drop off, they don't count you anymore. Okay, you don't exist. So going back to his numbers, right now as things stand, the real unemployment rate in America is about 25%. Okay. Now we know the numbers for X amount of people unemployed. We know there's so much deaths, suicide, right? All these different things that play into it. So real lives are being lost because people can't find work. I forget the pilot, was it Perot, said the great sucking sound. Remember that sucking sound outside to Mexico and China? That has happened. And so we have to ask ourselves, what flag is America really flying under? Is it really the American flag or is it the Chinese flag? I think below the surface, I think we're already flying underneath the Chinese flag. I think DC honestly is a lost cause from what I observe. That's why my sole goal is to hedge Wisconsin away from just not the terrible federal policies, but make Wisconsin an independent state on its own where we can produce the things we need. And I want to put Wisconsinites first. I want to focus on whatever small businesses are left. Again, there's some still time, but I want to help raise them up. I don't want to multinationals. We've seen what happened. They had the advantage forever. I'm done with them. Chinese companies, no, not Wisconsin. Sorry. No, I want to help the good people here prosper now.
Yeah, talk about kind of this self-sustaining. Some of the things that you touched on. For Wisconsin, kind of being able to take care of things within our borders, but also have the ability, if we have an abundance of some sort of export, we could we're sending and take care of the Minnesotans every once in a while if we have to, or the Illinois folk. But do you have we have a plan?
I got the plan there for sure. But what I want to teach people real quick, going back to our currency, right? So that paper dollar, whether it's digital or in your hand, all that represents is a claim to something that has been produced. Okay, but if that production is not there, this doesn't do you any good. The dollar isn't doing you any good, right? So my thing I say to people all the time is we have a national debt about 28 trillion. You'll be at 30 trillion before you know it. 30 trillion of dollars out in existence, right? Is there 30 trillion of anything really, like cows? Are there 30 trillion cows on the face of the earth? No, it's not based in reality. Mm-hmm. So there's been this illusion of this wealth that the Federal Reserve has been able to create by, printing and paper over thing. So like I said, if you put a bubble around Wisconsin, whatever we produce is what we get to consume. If we're not producing it, it's not there. So you could dump all the paper money on your heads that you want. It's not going to do any good if you can't eat, right? You have nothing to put in your mouth. So there's lack of production with the supply chain breaking down because we shut down for way too long. And we have examples of who did it right. Look at Christine Nome in South Dakota. She did it right. Look at Greg down in Florida. He's opened up, doing just fine. They're humming along. Yet honestly, if it hadn't been for the Supreme Court, and thank God for Kelly before left there, unfortunately, Tony Evers probably would still have us on lockdown. He's hell bent on having us on lockdown. So he wants to hurt. Now, the resources Wisconsin has, we have so much resources. We have wood, forest, we have farmland. Even though Bill Gates is buying up tons of prime farmland. I mean, the guy owns almost 450 square miles of farmland. He owns 1,100 acres in Wisconsin alone. What does Bill Gates need with 250,000 acres of prime farmland? I thought he was a tech guy.
And maybe he wants to get away from that tech stuff. He was like, what, I'm just going to get a tractor and chew on some straw and just, for the rest. I'm sure that's it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Almost sure.
He's also an expert in medicines now too. And, mRNA, which are not vaccines, by the way, but a technology delivery system. So there's a lot of research. We have the Great Lakes. We have a water source, when it comes to energy, I want a diversified energy portfolio. I don't want anything to ever happen like we see down Texas here. There's nuclear is clean. It can be done. I think there should be a mix of that. We can burn coal cleanly too. Natural gas. Sure, if there's places for windmills, we can put them up. There's a lot of different energy sources. We need to be diversified as well. So.
Yeah, that's one of the things it's always feels like it's got to be one way or the other.
Right, extremes.
There's nobody that's like, hey, we could just use it all. It'd be cool if we have all these energy sources, we use them all. I think that would be beneficial, don't you? Yeah, I feel like that's a good idea, but that's never the conversation that happens. It's always, extreme Green New Deal stuff, and it's one way or the other. There seems to be no middle ground. But yet, I think what you're getting at is, matter of fact, there is. We can do all the things. We can be good to all the things.
Everything that the current administration is trying to implement is not only a globalist agenda, but it's an agenda to eradicate once and for all the middle class. That's what it's meant to do. So the founding fathers always said this country always had this beautiful way that if you were, an immigrant that came in and you were poor, whatever, whatever hand you got dealt, when you came into this life, right, there was an opportunity, a way through hard work and savings and good investments, you could get to the middle class, and from there you get to the rich class, right? That's how it worked. They want to wipe that all away. They want the top tier, low tier. What's funny about this is you got Bill Gates yapping about, there's too much emissions, blah blah blah. We're killing the earth, right? What does he buy? He buys a private jet company. What is he flying? A private jet. How are you not connecting on the dot? They don't care. They could care less about the environment, and they could care less about you.
No, I know when I get my private jet. Oh wait, no, I have to make the noises because it's just like the and I fly it, and then I wake up from that dream. There's a lot of things, and I want to encourage people to go, to the website, wichmannforgovernor.com, and get more information. And your Facebook has a great, really nicely broken down where you stand. I think that's, we talked a little bit in the open about people maybe not necessarily doing research into their candidate. They just kind of go in and either blindly vote down the aisle, or they are down a party line, or they're like, oh, I recognize that guy's name. Yeah, I'm going to vote. But I think you have such a great, your about section of your Facebook page really has a lot of great information, and a lot of great things about where you stand on certain issues. So I think there's real clarity in that. So I encourage people to go and to check those places out. One of the things that I've talked about on this program many times, and surprisingly, I still have a show. They haven't taken me off yet.
Thanks for having me on, by the way. There's a lot of conservative talk radio that they won't talk about this. That's why they don't want me on. They don't want to talk about these things. And that's really sad. And I think people know who I'm alluding to on that, but sorry. Go ahead.
Wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah, I think it's, I'm not here to argue with you. I did radio for 20 years. I have some insight into how that works, that machine works. But I think this cancel culture thing is something that was part of the reason that I went from just doing a podcast to wanting to do this live show to really and talking to a multitude of different people from multitudes of different walks of life.
Right.
Really open form conversation. But it was really to be able to have conversations about things. And sometimes those things can be a little tense. It can be something that some people don't agree with. People that I love are like, wait a minute, I didn't know you thought that. I'm like, well, I just wanted to come over and watch the game and not have an argument. So sure. But this cancel culture thing is really, it really needs to be of concern to people.
It needs to be deleted.
we need to cancel the cancel culture. But the craziest thing to me about it is right now it's mostly conservatives. People like Gina Carano, who, I've talked about since she got fired from Disney, who I raved about on my show before because I thought The Mandalorian was a fabulous show. Again, Star Wars geek. I'm like, maybe I'll invest my time in it. And I'm like, wow, they really did a nice job on this. And she was had an integral role on that. And just seeing her character or seeing her as a human being, the attempt to delete her from, take away her job, take away her, ability to make a living. And people always have, especially if you're an actor or a musician or somebody, and they don't, they'll be fine. They'll live their life out in their, their mansion. I'm like, I don't think that's not really quite how it works. Luckily, if you follow like Ben Shapiro, Daily Wire, they've obviously picked her up and she's doing a deal with them. I was reading a story today. Kevin Sorbo, the guy who played Hercules, recently had his Facebook page deleted by Facebook for making some posts. He started a different page. They deleted that page, even though it was just like, pictures of his kids. It seems easy right now for one side to be like, yes, cancel them. But the people aren't taking a step back and saying, wait till it's your guy. Wait till it's somebody that you're like, well, I don't understand why they got canceled. People are trying to, just be on one side and lean and say, well, that person should be canceled because they hurt my feelings or I don't agree with what they're saying. But it is insane that people are getting canceled left and right now.
It is. And, the liberal side, though, is, it seems like you can't cancel them no matter what they say. The rules don't apply to them. I mean, I don't know if anyone watched Joe Biden's town hall in Milwaukee, last night. It was a joke. I mean, the guy didn't even know where seemed like he knew where he was. The questions were lobbed and they weren't even, I don't know what you gained on it. I couldn't see the audience. Maybe there was 10 people there. I don't know. I don't know who showed up for that, but I mean, here, I watched a little bit. Joe Biden's like, well, we need to respect each other now. We need to respect one another. Really, the respect that you showed Trump, the CNN, every day of his life that you showed the sitting president, that Facebook, Twitter, and all them completely wiped off their platforms. Oh, that respect. Okay, you see. No, it's a joke. I have Democrats and liberals that do message me, the few, that they do, and I talk with them. I'm open. I hear them out. I listen to their whatever points they might have. The problem is where they're getting their information up to formulate their ideas on life and reality is only, you can tell, at least I can tell, is through mainstream media. You know exactly what they're watching. That's it, because they're just parodying the same points over and over and over again. It's not a new thought. They don't have any resources or inside information, telling like I did early on. I knew, I don't want to get too off topic here, but the ruling class, what is concerning me about, first of all, they're psychopaths. I'm gonna tell it straight up. They're psychopaths. Okay, they're narcissistic at the worst level. Psychopaths. Now, what's really crazy about this, and I don't know if you saw, I just saw this come out. There is a health wellness certification process that they're trying to push now for businesses, and they call it the SEAL. They want you, the business to get this, to put the seal on your window. And do you know who they have out there parading on their ads, pushing this? Jennifer Lopez, Lady Gaga, Robert De Niro, and others. Huh? These are musicians, celebrities. What do you know about it? Why are you being used, right? Because that's all. They're puppets. They're being used because they have a following. They're called idols that people follow. And they're, oh, my idol says this is good for me. I'm going to therefore comply. Right, with the whole mask nonsense. So first, it's a mark on your window to see what business is complying with this. Then where's the other mark go? Does it go on you?
It's that wrist tattoo that looks.
I'm just saying, Disney has been using that, conditioning the young kids forever in Disney, where with the little wristbands, RFID wristbands, just swipe, beep, beep, beep. Yeah. There's no credit card, no nothing. Okay, why? Why? What is this all for?
It's scary if when you think about it, because people again, I'm not necessarily playing devil's advocate, but I'll be that person that's like, well, when in history have we put symbols on something to be able to maybe force judgment upon somebody else for their I'm pretty sure that's happened. We've done that. We've done that before. It's happened, but it has happened throughout the course of history. Gaslighting, cancel culture, the world we live in is it's a scary place. It's a scary place. I'm guessing for you and your family, because you do speak, the things that you feel and the things that you believe in. It's scary for me, who's, trying to build a show here and really talking open form dialogue with people and having conversations, because I don't think you can get, you can't get the information necessarily, and you've obviously are wise to this. You can't get it from a short post or a short, short interview. But it's scary to think that one person could jump on, say on this particular episode or this particular program at some point and be like, I didn't really, whatever he said, I didn't really like that, so I'm gonna hit the report button, and then that person's gonna start this thing on social media like, well, you got to report him because he was talking about not wearing a mask, and masks are cool. I wear 10 of them. It and it starts to bloom, and then then there's hashtags, and it starts to trend, and then Twitter pulls you, and then Facebook. It's like, what? This isn't. This is not how it's supposed to be. Like, if you don't like it,
right,
listen to it.
I came on the political scene. I'm running for governor, not just to change policies, right, or political policies, but to raise consciousness, human consciousness. That's what's lacking in this world. We have so much hate and fear. And it's funny because the left talks about this all the time. Well, we need to love more. We need to love more, right? They're the ones hating and doing the most, right? I mean, it's crazy. So I'm a very peaceful guy, martial artist, balanced, we go out all that, right? But I am firm. And the reality about this, I want to speak to the fellow voters of Wisconsin, is if you think that this next paradigm shift, this life that you're entering into, is going to be pleasant for you because you're on your knees, because you complied with everything government said you do, you're very wrong. You're very wrong. So, fear, we talk about fear. No, I would rather die on my feet than live on my knees. I'm serious about that. Freedom is the most precious gift that I've been given, and I will fight to defend at all costs. At the end of the day, we're only guaranteed so many years on this planet anyways, right? And then we move on, right, to whatever the next thing might be. I believe in God, the Father, the Creator. I did not create myself. And so everything's in his hands. And God knows my time, but what he's told me to do is I have to speak the absolute truth to people, no matter how bitter that is, no matter what, and show them, right? And that's what I'm doing. So,
I was made this parallel comment that you kind of brought up with the on your knees thing, and again, watching Man in the High Castle last night. First, it just happened to pop. It was something we finally decided on watching. And for those who were just joining, Man in the High Castle, a series that came out on Amazon Prime, like 2015, shows what the world looks like had we lost World War II. And basically the Nazis had control of half the United States. There was a little bit of space in between where it was like the neutral zone, and then the Japanese owned the other side. And so they're kind of going through some of these character builds, these character arcs on the story in the movie or in the show. And they talk about, there's one particular character says something to the effect of, because there's this kind of revolution, there's this underground group, the rebels. I'm just using Wars references all day today, apparently. But there's this group, and kind of a guy who's outside of that group is like, I'm fine just keeping my head down and going to work and keep, not saying anything and keeping my head down and just not being part of any problem. He's like, really kind of what you're getting at is, and not that it's, not really trying to compare it to what a Nazi-led country would look like, but that's really what he's saying is like, here are the rules that are set forth before us, and they're pretty strict. But as long as I just toe the line and keep my head down and keep walking forward, and I go to my job and I go home, and maybe I'm lucky enough I can go out, and have a beer once in a while. Like that was a scary parallel that we both drew last night. I was like, well, isn't that interesting? If we all just abide by all the rules and we all just get along, and then we start turning into robots, we'll be fine before AI takes over.
You'll own nothing and you'll like it. That's really what the saying goes. I'm concerned even with some of my own dedicated supporters. I've heard them, say, well, if it comes down to my job and the COVID-19 vaccine, well, I've got a family to feed. I have to take the vaccine. I mean, this is like, okay, I'm resisting to this point, but then when it's too painful, when I have too much to lose and risk, then I'm just going to cave in. Well, that doesn't help us change anything. That doesn't, create a defense for freedom in the Constitution. That's not what our founding fathers did in the Revolution. Like, okay, I give up.
There was another topic that maybe it's a little lighter than some of the ones we've discussed. Yeah,
sorry, it's heavy. Let's lighten it up. Let's talk about cannabis.
Let's talk about weed. No, that's exactly what I was getting to. But no, I don't. I'm glad that these conversations happen because I think they need to. People shouldn't be afraid to have the conversations because that's where you end up not knowing what's happening to you. You're like, I didn't see this coming. Like at first it was the mask. Now I wear a bubble. Like it's good to have these conversations. And I'm glad that you, that we can have these and hopefully can have more in the future. But obviously Wisconsin is one of the states that currently recreational marijuana is not legal. I'm not an advocate either way. I think the money could be used for some great things. That's just my opinion. I don't want to be in charge of it. So just a heads up. But there was some talk that came out of the Evers camp a couple weekends ago about putting this legalization thing into forward movement to try to start to have the conversation at least to be talked about. What is your plan on this? I think we've seen some success in some areas. We've seen some maybe further out west that have taken it maybe a little too far. Yeah. We're now, what is it? Is it out in Washington? Like it's just like a free for all. Like it's whatever you want some Coke. Cool. That's you go to the Coke store and get some Coke. So maybe that's a little too far down the road, but tell me about a plan that you have in mind to roll out some legalization in the state of Wisconsin.
All right. So when my camera got a little fuzzy there. When it comes to this, I am not an advocate of, cocaine, obviously nothing like that, right? But cannabis is very different. There's a lot of properties on the THC side. We also have the CBD oil, right? But THC, there's so many things that helps from healing in the body. Is my camera? Sorry, I don't really want to focus there. Okay. And so the thing is, people got to follow the money on this again. If you really get down into it, it's big tobacco and big pharma that don't want cannabis because it interferes with their profits. See, companies just like this COVID-19 vaccine, if they can patent it, if they can create a synthetic version, which usually not as good or as the original plant, they patent it, they now get the money. It's all the revenue, privatize the profits. It's always what it comes down to being. This is more of a freedom thing. If you're an adult, I'm saying an adult, right?
Right.
21-year-old legal consenting adult, it should be your choice to decide what you put into your body. There's no government agency. There's no anti-cannabis police force that's going to be, and they love to monitor you 24/7 if they could, but there's no one that's going to come boom in your house saying, we see you having some weed or you're having some edibles, whatever you're having, right? You're going to jail. Who would want that? Number one, okay? What you do in your own home with your own body, that's between you and God. I have no right to say. If you're infringing and you're hurting me or someone else or children, then yes, the government needs to step in and make sure that doesn't happen. I think the Republicans, the party as a whole, is missing the boat in not controlling this process and the narrative. I think the Republicans should actually get their arms around cannabis, because I do believe it's going to happen here either way, regardless. I would much rather have the Republicans roll out the plan than the Democrats. I mean, we've seen how well they did with, unemployment and getting the checks out to 9 months, and people, right? You want to really let them figure out how to roll out, the pro-cannabis stuff here? No. So I am medical first. I think there is no reason why we can't get medical cannabis done first. How I see it done, I've been thinking through the formula on this is I don't want big tobacco companies involved in this. I don't want them to be able to produce. I want small guys. It's like the way I look at it is like microbrewers, right? The best beer I ever had is a microbrewer and a brewery. I don't know how you feel about Miller on it, but there's a lot of corn syrup. It's just a lot of syrup in there. It's not really a beer, So you have these smaller guys. They know their beers. They love it. They're into it. The same thing is with the cannabis world. You have these guys that are so into cannabis. They know this strain, that strain. Help with arthritis. Irritable bowel syndrome. Let these guys get the licenses to produce. Let Wisconsin-based companies and small get the revenue, the profit, grow it. That's what we want. Yes, of course, you'll have a tax there, but medical first, not really any tax on that. I want people who have these chronic illnesses to have another option, another treatment option. The example I give is a true story. Is both my mom and my wife's aunt passed away from cancer in the same year. In 2019, and my mom, was terminal, and for the last 3 months, 4 months, it was pretty bad. And the doctor gave her all those, heavy duty pain meds, and she would just sleep for 14, 15 hours straight. There was no quality, like it just knocked her out. And so we're sitting there watching her sleep for 15 hours a day, and it's just like, we'd like to say, interact, the last precious time you had with someone. And so, I shouldn't be saying, but I got, I was able to obtain some cannabis, right?
I know a guy who knows
that helped her, and it allowed her to deal with the pain. And the other thing was her appetite. Very hard for her to have an appetite. She was wasting away weight-wise. It was the only thing that gave her something to eat to keep the weight on, and a quality of life that we had for the last few months. But I don't want to be. I'm not a criminal. I just shouldn't feel like a criminal to help my dying mother. Get something that would help her in her last few months of life. No. So medical legalization right away. The doctors, I think it should be done like this. Pain management centers right here with an actual MD doctor on staff that evaluates each person coming in and then decides, okay, we write a prescription for cannabis. Then you go to the medicinal supplier, the growers, right? You get prescription, 30 supply, whatever it is. They give you the cannabis or strain that they feel would help you best with your chronic, illness. You pay them, and you take home and you consume just like you would, anything else, right? But we don't want all this funneling up to private big corporations, the money, and we don't want the government to tax the crap out of it either, so that they can just spend it on other stupid programs that they like to do. I want this to be reinvested back into the local communities and to help the people of Wisconsin. General use, I think we have a lot of things to think through. How do we test this and make sure it's out of people's system? People that are using, working with heavy, equipment operation, right? How do we do this in a safe way? It's a little bit different than alcohol, yet Wisconsin, we have so many DUIs. I mean, a lot of people, you know, DUIs 3, 4, they're still not in jail. I mean, I know people, you know, that have happened to. So to say cannabis is going to be this extreme thing where everyone's going to be, you know, driving off the road high as a kite, I don't see it that way.
I think there was a lot of, and again, not a smoker myself. I have enough. I got to keep this thing functioning at a, you know,
Right.
optimal level. But I mean, I get it. I get it for pain management. I get it for if we're going to live in, you know, what is basically the largest drinking state in the union. And we're okay with that. And I'm okay with that. I'm an advocate. I support, I'm, you know, go team. But I think that we went through so many years of disinformation
Yes.
on marijuana. And I think you named a couple of the industries and reasons why, with big pharma being maybe the first and foremost back when, you know, smoking cigarettes was, you know, just kind of the thing everybody did, you know, in class.
When doctors said smoking was good for your health, do you remember that?
Yeah, there's like a Joe Camel ad. I mean, those like, it's fine. Have a couple of smokes.
Trust the science, right?
Yeah. No, I'm a doctor. It's fine. This will help. This will help you with your anxiety. But no, I think that because of the major disinformation that was pushed even through government in the whatever 60s, 70s into the 80s, and everybody has like the same, like, oh my gosh, but it's still this bad thing. It's kind of like I compare it to like sugar. Sugar was like, all this thing was like, well, sugar's fine. Sugar's kind of, you know, whatever. We can have the kids are fine having the sugar. And then all of a sudden, like the actual science came out. And we're like, well, that was really dumb. That was really bad. You know, we're sorry that we pushed sugar as this, this great.
All the fad diets from the 90s. Remember, it was no sugar, right? Diet this, diet that, fat's bad, right? Now we're coming into seeing actually people are on the keto diet. Good, healthy fats are great. It's great for your brain. You know, a lot of people do really well on the keto diet. So please, you know, and then one last thing too, you know, the food pyramid. Remember we talked about food pyramid, right? Going back to the mask, people are like, oh, I put a mask on. I want 3 masks. Let's go around. If the masks are so good for your health, then we should include it back in the food pyramid and taught this as a daily thing that everyone should have been doing, right? Because it's part of your daily healthy thing to do.
Yeah, I think it goes to show that you have to really do research on things, and you know, when it comes to even making the decisions for you know, recreational marijuana use, I think obviously there does need to be some studies done. I think you do have to look at the states that have legalized it, and also from a revenue generating standpoint for the state of Wisconsin, we have, and I know there was some laws passed over the last couple of years regarding, you know, hemp production. Hemp farming, you know, there's tons of research on the benefits of that, not only just for CBD and products like that, but also many other facets of hemp can be used in many different ways. And I think there's a lot of revenue out there for the state. But when you talk about recreational marijuana, that people get a little nervous about it, and it can be a one-sided thing. But have the conversation about it is, I think, what people are asking for, is talk about it and move it forward, and know that, you know, I hate driving down roads in Wisconsin in winter, and it would be awesome if they were all nicely paved all the time. But I mean,
do you know who the biggest critics of the cannabis narrative? It's conservative Christian people, okay? But they think nothing. I'm a Christian. I'm open about that, right? I believe in God on that. But they think nothing about popping pharmaceutical pills. Nothing about it. Right. They'll get addicted to pain meds all day long because the doctor prescribed it to them. But cannabis is this green little plant, you know, no, run for the hills. If my memory serves me correctly, I think we're losing about $25 million a year in revenue down to Illinois from cannabis, you know.
And to the conservative Christians, I say, read Genesis 1:12. I give you all the seed-bearing plants and herbs to use. Exactly.
Right.
Not, hey, take this fentanyl pill, you'll be fine. Like, that's not in there anywhere. I've read the thing.
Right.
Fentanyl did not make an appearance anywhere.
In Genesis, you must have your yearly flu shot. Otherwise, you will not survive.
Yeah. Is that 1 Corinthians? I think it is. It's not.
I try not to be too sarcastic. I get that, but we have to have a little fun and joke because it's just so insane. And people need to realize that this is insanity. Okay. And I'm not going to be part of that. So. Yeah.
Have the conversations, do the research. I think there's a lot of good things that can come for that. And Jonathan Wichmann, I want to thank you for your time, man. We busted through, almost an hour here of great dialogue, great conversation. Really excited for your stance on a lot of things and the action that you're taking. You talked about some, members of the GOP being more stand back. I've heard the word coward thrown out, not by you necessarily, but it's been something that's been out in not mainstream media, but some of the media I listen to. But out doing it, being active and getting the word out. I think that's the most important thing. And it starts now. I mean, people they think 2022 is so far away, but it's right around the corner, my friend.
Yeah, just to sum it up, I need all the help I can get. I have so many people reach out daily. I want to volunteer your campaign. Next week, I am doing an online cash call. I do need to raise a budget, for real. I'm going to have to get on the airways, run some ads, get 1 million plus people aware of my campaign. But the grassroots movement, I started in April of last year. From that time on, the grassroots movement has been phenomenal. Just everything that's happened, so many people are telling other people about me. So I'm so thankful to my supporters and all that you're doing. Thank you. So a lot of things, good things to come. And Cooper, again, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it. It won't be our last time, I'm sure.
No, we'll get you back on. We got plenty of time, and the forum is open. WichmannForGovernor.com is the website. Also look him up on Facebook. A lot of great information on there. Keep doing what you're doing, man. And yeah, anytime you want to come back on the program, you're always welcome. You know how to get a hold of me. We'll make magic happen.
Thank you. And all my supporters who are watching, please follow Cooper and his Facebook. Support him. This is what we're about, getting the truth out there. Thank you so much.
No, thank you, sir. Take care of yourself, your family, and we'll chat soon.
Thank you.
Hang on. Jonathan Wichmann for governor of the great state of Wisconsin 2022. WichmannForGovernor.com, again, is the website. Thank you, Jonathan, for the great conversation and some laughs and some, you just got to have the conversations. And I think that's the most important thing. You sit back, listen, enjoy the conversations, interject when you feel like the need to. But it's great to have him on and to learn more about where he stands on things. Again, his Facebook page has a lot of great information, so I encourage you to go there and to the website and check out all the things that he's got going on, the things he stands for, because that's what helps you in the end make your decision on who you vote for. Again, for governor of the great state of Wisconsin coming up in 2022. To all of you who are still tuned in on Facebook, on Instagram, not on Instagram, we're not on Instagram, can't do that yet, and also on YouTube and on Twitch, thank you all. Really appreciate the continued support of the show and keeping the comments coming in. We'll get to some of them here during the break. We'll toss them up on the screen. Coming up in about 25 minutes, my friend Rachel Lorin, singer, songwriter, immensely talented individual, is going to join the show. We've got lots to talk about with her. That's coming up at about 4:30. We're going to take a short little break. We'll be back and we'll talk more. Lots of things to go on and talk about in the news today, and we'll get to all those topics. Stay tuned. Stay in the comment boxes. We'll chat with you. Then we're back on the live show. Thank you all for sticking around, joining in. Make sure the comments, whatever you got coming in on Facebook, on YouTube, and on the Twitch. Jump in, give me 2 cents. Lots going on the rest of the show. Rachel Lorin joins me in about 15 minutes. She's coming up. She's out in Atlanta and going to be talking music and other fun stuff. So look for that. Thanks to her. Did a great video before her earlier today for her appearance on the show. You can check that out. I believe it's on the Facebook page. Tried to share it on the Instagram, but yeah, Insta was being crabby. Probably flagged some of our content. Lots going on in the news. If you're a Batman fan, when they announced, it feels like it's been a long time, maybe 2 years, year and a half, when they announced that Robert Pattinson was going to be the new Batman in The Batman. Everybody's a little hesitant because you think Robert Pattinson and you think, was it Twilight? Was that the movie? The vampire, glittery vampire? Is that Twilight? Does anybody know? Robert Pattinson, Twilight? Yeah. Throw in the comments. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So they announced that Robert Pattinson's going to be the next Batman, and I was like, come on. Can't bring back Keaton? You know, I'll be all for Keaton. And I'd be back, like, maybe not Clooney. You know, Val Kilmer's not in a position to do that stuff anymore, but Robert Pattinson. Anyway, so the trailer comes out, or the teaser trailer comes out, and it just looks badass. You know, it's like 35 seconds. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll buy into it. However, the movie has been delayed, obviously, for a plethora of reasons over the last year or so. So the third time in 5 months, The Batman has been shut down after Robert Pattinson's stunt double tested positive for COVID-19. So Pattinson and his stunt double were forced into isolation for 10 days. The second time. So this happened earlier this month. Also happened back in November when both he and another crew member had to be isolated for 10 to 14 days. When is this coming out? Like, I feel like Okay. So the Batman's release date has it's been delayed twice as a result of COVID. Now set for March 4th of 2022. Hey, that's the same year Jonathan Wichmann is running for governor of Wisconsin. Jonathan Wichmann was just on the show, in case you're wondering where that came from. So we wait. Yeah, man. I don't know. There's some movie theaters I know that are open. I know some movie theaters are doing some stuff. Obviously, all your major blockbusters have kind of been shelved. Was HBO Max is now doing this thing with some of the major movies. You can also get them on HBO Max. You can watch it from home, but you have to pay for the subscription, which I think is like $15 a month. We did that for Wonder Woman 1984. Watch that. I like the original one better. The original Wonder Woman I thought was better than the new one, but you did have Linda Hamilton. You had the original, right? She was the original Wonder Woman. Make a cameo. That's kind of cool. In other tragic news, now we don't have an IHOP around here, so I guess I'm not too upset by this, and I really don't eat pancakes. I make them for my son once in a while, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'll just have some bacon. But it's every year around this time that IHOP does, International House of Pancakes, does their International Pancake Day, give away free pancakes to their customers. Even if you don't have an IHOP around you, you've lived and you have television, they run IHOP commercials. International Pancake Day is now canceled. Usually happens around mid-February. Not happening this year because of COVID. Instead of giving away pancakes on one specific day, IHOP announced on its website fans will be able to go get a free stack of buttermilk pancakes throughout the month of April. So if you're a pancake fan, you'll be able to go and get yourself pancakes. Just what you need after sitting on your couch for an entire year plus. I can really go for some pancakes. Tastes better when they're free. Oh, man. What else is going on? Rush Limbaugh died today. Rush Limbaugh. I know he was diagnosed with cancer, advanced lung cancer. He announced this a while ago. He was it the State of the Union address last year, 2020? Obviously a very controversial radio host, TV host, said some things a lot of people didn't agree with. But he was at that State of the Union address, and I believe he got the some award, Medal of Honor, something. Anyway, passed away today. Lung cancer. Not COVID, by the way. It's just lung cancer. So sometimes that's what they do. Sometimes, he announced back in 2018 he's got stage 4 lung cancer. That's why he died. It wasn't like, oh, well, he died of COVID. By the way, he also was stage 4 lung cancer. They didn't do that this time. Gina Carano. We talked a little bit about Gina Carano and the cancel culture with Jonathan Wichmann earlier on in the program. But you know how anytime there's any Star, I wouldn't say just Star Wars, but any sort of major theatrical release on a grand scale, and Star Wars is probably the grandiose of scales because now you have 9 movies in the saga, and then you have a couple of spin-off movies there, and you have series like Rebels, and you have Mandalorian. Obviously, the big marketing part, or a fairly large marketing portion of that, is doing toys, figurines, and stuff. Well, I mean, Baby Yoda was like as soon as they released any sort of Baby Yoda thing, it was gone. But they did end up doing some character toys based on Mandalorian and Gina Carano's character, Cara Dune. Those sold out. Hasbro made them, and they sold out like in a record amount of time. Because collectors, if you have a geeky Star Wars collection of figurines and stuff over the last 40 plus years, yeah, this would be a great addition to it. You could have a whole sequence. You could have your own worlds with characters and stuff. So anyway, they release them. They get sold out. They're going back into production. Now Hasbro is scrapping scrapping their Cara Dune characters figurines. Yeah, obviously after she was fired, they are now scrapping her. I did read something that they want Xena Warrior Princess, the gal that played Xena Warrior Princess, to take over Cara Dune's character. I never like when they do that. You know, it's you're like, wait, what? Like, I don't understand. I mean, I got mad when they replaced Marty McFly's girlfriend Jennifer in the Back to the Future 2 movie. I'm like, wait, that's not the same girl. It's not. I never watched it the same way. First was still the best. I'm like, that's not the same girl. No, not the same one. These are the petty things I hold on to for 30 some years. Not the same Jennifer, man. It's not the same. I don't know. Don't replace her. Just, I don't know. Make up something where you blew it up or something bad happened. Can't just completely ignore it. Like, I don't know. Hey, where's a girl that helped us, in these first, many challenges he went to in order to free Baby Yoda? I don't know what happened to her. Yeah, she just fell off the face of the earth. It'd be interesting to see if they actually go through with that. I've been talking a lot about Clubhouse, the new social media app Clubhouse, which is an audio-only based social media site. So there's no video, there's no pictures, there's no links. It's just rooms. You can join a room, and then you can have conversations with people, usually about a specific topic. So you'll have a topic like rock and roll music, rock and roll music of certain generation, and you can go in that room and you can have conversations with people. And some big name celebrities are on it. Elon Musk and like Tulsi Gabbard's on there, and but it's invite only at this point. Well, now Clubhouse is having to improve security after there is some concern that the Chinese government is jumping into rooms and listening in on conversations that are happening on the app. Apparently there's some companies in Shanghai that they've been pinged by Clubhouse as listening in on different conversations without actually being present in the app. So somehow they're breaching the technology. We just can't. First it was TikTok. TikTok was taking all of your kids' information and selling it to the Chinese, so they could market you somehow. I don't know. Coming. Now they're listening to our conversations, are I'm sure intriguing conversations. Like if Elon Musk is in a room and he's talking about, I don't know, rockets or colonizing Mars or something. I don't think he's giving away the secrets, Like, I don't think he's like, well, here's what we do. We put X wire to this wire and build an X-wing and we find like, I don't think he's giving that stuff away. So if China thinks that they're getting some big secrets on Clubhouse by tuning in and listening, I feel that they are mistaken. But I don't know. It's who knows these days. Maybe that's the new form of espionage. You know what I mean? And we just tap into each other's social media pages and we're like, wonder what they're doing over there. And do the old-fashioned way, Do it, sneak in, James Bond style. Sneak in and place a little device against the back of a computer and it reads all the data, sends it back, transmits it elsewhere. Nobody finds it till it's almost too late. No, that's just spy movie stuff. That's not real. It feels like it's real. Feels kind of like that's what Snowden did a little bit, kind of. I mean, he downloaded it from a computer and then snuck it out and then released it. I don't know. Crazy things going on. So kind of, this was another interesting story that I saw that popped up. So apparently Dana White is in a little bit of trouble. Look at this. Matt H is on the Twitch. Mr. Hatley, on the Twitch. You're a youngster now, running up on that Twitch. Love it. Love it. So anyway, Dana White called an ESPN reporter a douche. We can say douche on the show because we can. Because this particular reporter was grandstanding on Gina Carano and her being fired from Disney. So Dana White called him a douche. which is weird because UFC and ESPN are in a contracted deal. Is now all of your pay-per-view stuff, it's all on ESPN Plus. All your, Saturday night, the free stuff is on ESPN Plus. ESPN owned by ABC, which is owned by Disney. Who knows? They're gonna get rid of Dana White. They're gonna get rid of UFC. That's the next thing that's coming down. It's next on the list. I don't know. I think the world's gone mad, personally. I mean, that's where we're at. That's where we're at with things. That's why I'm excited to talk to Rachel Lorin, see how she's doing, talk music and stuff. That's fun. I think you have to have all the conversations. It's the premise of this show is to have the hard conversations, the difficult ones, the ones that don't make you feel so good. Well, hurt your feelings a little bit. And then you can have fun conversations, because that's really the complexity of human conversation. Is it ranges from a whole bunch of different places. You can talk about the bad stuff. You can talk about the good stuff, talk about the funny stuff, talk about it all. You can do that. This is dumb. This is dumb, but we'll talk about it. Machine Gun Kelly, MGK, hip hop artist, musician, dude that's dating Megan Fox. Anyway, put out a tweet an Instagram post on Valentine's Day. And remember, this was the thing. Like, remember Billy Bob Thornton and Angelina Jolie were married for a while? People tend to forget that. Like, everybody's always like, Brad and Angelina were together. That was the thing. But Billy Bob Thornton and Angelina Jolie were together too. And they used to wear each other's blood around their neck in little vials. Everybody's like, well, who's that about? But apparently it's still a thing, because Machine Gun Kelly now wears a charm around his neck with Megan Fox's blood in it. This is again about not looking into history. When these things have happened before, when people have done these kind of things before, it never, unless it's a vampire movie, not Twilight, but other vampire movies, Interview with the Vampire, maybe. This never turns out well. This doesn't equal longevity and growing old together. No, this is like 6 months. You got 6 months from the date you post a picture of the fact that you wear your girlfriend's blood around your neck and pretty little pendant. 6 months. Did we call it here? Let's write that down. 6 months. Wrote it down. 6 months. That's what I give it. And they'll be on this show. If the show is still on the air, God willing, we will be like, hey, Cooper, you called it. You called it. 6 months for MGK and Megan Fox. I'm just throwing it out there. That's my over-under. These are the kind of things I spend my time thinking about. I feel like I should get a hobby or something. But as y'all have been clamoring for, I see that my friend Rachel Lorin is in the green room. She's not moving though, so I better wait till she gets her reception right, and then we'll get her into the conversation. Lots to discuss, lots of things going on, and we'll see if she's there she is.
Hello. Can you hear me? I'm having some weird audio issues. Can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you, and I see you're frozen
in
time. More like an ice sculpture or something.
All right, well, I am here, so I don't know. Oh, okay. I just restarted the camera. God, technical issues. I'm doing this on my phone, so hopefully
it's all good.
Works. Yeah. You see me moving now?
I don't. I see you. You're like your own avatar.
What do I do? I don't know how to fix it. I don't know.
I don't know. You can just talk. It's all good. Just
Yeah.
feel like you're frozen in time.
Okay, well, I'm trying. Anyway, hi.
Hi, welcome to the show.
Look
How
at
are
that beard. It's so long. Wow.
you? I know.
I love it. It's very Duck Dynasty meets like Thor meets I don't know, Cast of 300. I like it.
That's what I'm going for is Duck Dynasty. Or if Thor was a part of the Duck Dynasty family, that's what I'm going for. Yeah. More like Fat Thor though. like Fat Thor, not necessarily
Not Fat
ripped
Thor. No.
Chris Hemsworth.
What are you talking about? You're always working out.
You know, I got a lot of free time. Actually, I don't. My time is running, working, and then trying to do a live stream show. This has really become the crux of who I am as a person.
Which is awesome, though. I mean, I met you, I guess it'd be 4 years ago now, right? I think 4 or
Yeah.
5.
When was the
It was
Shallow Side tour? That was like your first.
right. That was like my first tour ever, and then I caught laryngitis, like, and had to cancel 5 shows. That was terrible. Oh, that was terrible. But yeah, that's when I met you.
Has that been 4 years? 5 years? 4 or 5? Yeah, something like that.
It's something like that. Something like that. And then my first Rock Fest experience. So we're going strong, bro.
I know.
Going
We have consistency. We see each other like once every year and a half, and and we text every like 6 months. I was thinking about this because I know you just released The Way You Make Me Feel, your cover of The Way You Make Me Feel by Michael Jackson.
Yes.
So I remember this, and I think it's been 5 years because it was several years ago when, like, under the cover of Darkness, you like sent me, you're like, let me know what you think about this track. And
I remember sending that to you.
Yeah, it was that cover. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
That is a spicy one.
God, did it take forever to put that out? I just, it just wasn't time, and I wasn't happy with the original music video that I had done. And it just wasn't the right time because I just didn't have new releases and nothing to follow up with it. So I was like, forget it, and I just switched through management, and labels, and it was a mess. So it's just not the right time, but now it is. So I'm really, it's doing well. I think it's at like 30,000 views or something. The feedback has been great. So I'm really happy about that because it was my baby for a long time. I was just sitting on it, I was like, I really want to put this out, but I can't. So
that's got to be tough when
it's out.
It's got to be tough when you have that, you have that great song and it's great. And
Coop, I'm sitting on like 30 songs right now. It's driving me crazy. Oh, you have no idea.
It's
no idea.
It's tough though. It's got to be tough not to be able to get a song like that and all the other stuff you're sitting on. You're just like, I'd like to release all this music now.
Yeah. Can you still not see me?
I can. Like I said, you're kind of a frozen.
Oh, that's so. What can I do to fix it?
I don't know. Let's see. I mean,
is there anything I can? Hello? Is there anything that I can do to fix?
I don't connect to Wi-Fi. Oh, she pressed the wrong button. She kicked herself from the studio. It's okay. She'll be back. I know she will. Rachel Lorin working on technical difficulties. It's a new thing for, this whole live streaming stuff. I mean, trust me, I had a computer failure yesterday. I'm running on another computer. It's just, you got to kind of make the best of it. But I look at this. Watch this.
Is it working now?
You're moving now. You're a real human. You're not just.
Oh, thank God. I was like, I'm not gonna just sit here and be frozen. That's not good. Yay.
People would think I just had people would think I have a fake you. I just put your picture up on the other screen. I'm just just had some other woman voicing.
No.
We really know each other. It's really true.
No. Yeah, it's true. It's good to see you, bro.
Hey, things
How's
are well
everything
though.
been? No, really. Things are great. I mean, they were rough there, for a bit, but I'm good now. Very good now, actually. So yes. How are you doing?
I am well. Just continually reinventing, launching new adventures. I get bored with stuff, and I'm like, I'm gonna try doing this now. Talk to people.
I like it. You're killing it.
Yeah, I'm doing it. It's really just the beard. I figured this needed to be exposed to the world, so I was gonna, bring it to the masses.
When are you gonna shave, or are you gonna shave, or is it gonna look forever?
I have no plans. I'm just gonna look like a lumberjack forever.
Full on, like, who is he? Dumbledore, or what's his name? It's Dumbledore, right? Just
Dumbledore, from Harry Potter. Yeah,
Harry Potter. Very Dumbledore.
Yeah, he was a little more statue. He was a little more girthy than I am. He's kind of a, heftier dude. So I got to work on that.
Girthy.
Lifting heavier weights or something.
No.
But no,
I think
things
you're
are
talking
good.
about Hagrid. Good.
I'm only getting so many, I can only do so many geek things at one time. Star Wars, I can only do so
Good,
many
good,
geek
good.
things.
Well, I'm glad you're good. It's good to see you. Thanks for having me on.
No, I'm glad you're here, and I know you've had. I mean, this last 11 months has had a weird effect on a lot of people. I know, we had, we were going to meet up back in July of last year at Rockfest, and you're coming back for that for another
Oh,
round, and
that
just
killed me.
yeah, that was tough for a lot of people. Do you miss how much do you miss the road? I mean, miss being out in front of the fans and doing live shows. I know you feel
Oh,
your team and all, but
it's the most brutal. I mean, it's the most brutal thing that I mean, God, all artists are on the same boat as me. I mean, or as I am. It's interesting because we've all developed new ways of working and keeping busy and
mm,
trying to maintain sanity. But uh, you know, albeit I've definitely done a lot more work than I ever have in my existence, like with just creating, which is great. I've done so many music videos and so many songs I'm sitting on right now, but I really do miss touring. It's that live interaction, the energy, just the fun bits of touring. I miss it so much, and it's driving me crazy. Thankfully I've been able to travel still and do things. But yeah, just the live experience. I miss it so much, and it's brutal. It's brutal for all artists and whoever else is in that kind of category, like comedians, whoever tours. It's just brutal. Um, but I'm trying. I'm trying to keep busy, keep positive,
mm,
keep safe. COVID
yeah.
free.
Hey, that's the way to be. That's what I hear. COVID free is the way to be.
Yeah.
So like I said, you've been filling your time, and when you're sitting on 30 songs, and I'm because every time I see, not every time I see an Instagram post or something, you're in studio, you're working on something, you're collaborating with a lot of different, people and
Mhm.
producers, and working on stuff constantly. Like,
Right.
what's the like? Do you have a plan? Are you waiting for things to open up, or are you just do you have some
Yeah.
strategic going
No.
forward
Big
stuff?
plan. Oh, definitely. I mean, when it comes to touring, that's just like, please God, be nice to me. But
Mm,
the rest of the stuff, as far as releases go and videos go, no, I have a very, very big plan, a strategic plan. I'm very excited about what's coming. I have decided to record covers along with all of the originals I've been doing because I feel like it just adds to the content. It adds to who I am as an artist, and all of the ones that I've done in a very different way from the original. So I'm looking forward to putting them out as well. But yeah, I have a plan. Lots of music, like just
mhm,
lots of music releases are coming your way, and the first one will be this song I wrote for my dad when he passed away.
mm,
That one will be coming out very soon. The only thing I'm waiting for is just a contract to be signed, and then I can actually put it out. But it's literally just it's right around the corner, and it's pretty much the most special thing I think I've done in my adult life. Taking the pain of what happened and the shock of him passing away, um, not knowing what to do with myself and with the depression that hit. I
mm,
just wanted to write or dedicate, a song to him and write something from my heart because he was my biggest fan, no doubt,
mm,
easily,
yeah.
even more than my mom, which is hard to beat. He was just the cutest thing. He always wanted to listen to my music. If we were on road trips, he'd be like, "Turn this crap off and put your music on." He was so cute, and I felt like what better way to honor the most special man in my life than by writing him a song. And I think it's the most beautiful song I've ever written and recorded. And I can be so bold to say that because it is about my father, and he was the most special person I ever knew. And um, I'm really excited to put it out, and I'm really excited to put the video out. It's very emotional and it's very raw, and it's probably the most real I've ever been. With myself and with my emotions, with my lyrics. It's true pain, and it was a true massive loss for me, and I'm still, still struggling each day, trying to understand how to navigate life without him. So that I am most looking forward to this year is releasing that. Probably, I want to say within 2 to 3 weeks, and then the music video short thereafter. And then after that, it's gonna be really fun stuff. Really, really fun, fantasy type songs. They're very cool and they're very different. And yeah, I'm really excited. The music videos are absolutely crazy. Horseback riding, guns and just crazy motorcycle riding. It was just crazy. So I'm excited. Definitely lots of fun stuff coming.
How therapeutic it was the writing process for you, on that song. When you have that much music, obviously that means there's been a lot of writing that's going on. There's been a lot of challenging things that you've had to go through over the last year outside of just going through the COVID stuff. Now,
a lot. Yes.
Way too much for any one individual to have to go through, in my opinion. But how
you're well aware.
How therapeutic has it been for you to be able to use your craft, to use your art as a writer, to kind of flush those things from the system? Has that been
such a good question? Yeah, I would definitely say it has saved my life many times. Music has saved me from crashing, and I don't mean that I'm suicidal. I mean like losing myself, and I've been very close. A couple of months ago, I was very close to just giving up due to a specific human. I really was at my lowest point in my life, and very scared and very insecure and very down on myself. And and I had never felt so low, to the point where I just shut down. I just shut down as a person. I just didn't really communicate with anyone. I was just done. And after a specific event happened, it took me a minute to heal. I'm not fully healed, but it took me some time to get on my feet. And once I did that, I went straight to work, straight to songwriting, straight to music, and it was the greatest thing that I could have ever done. It saved me 100%. It brought back my confidence. It brought back my belief in myself. It brought back the powers that I once had and lost. It brought back, everything that I had been missing for almost a year and a half. And when it comes to my dad, I didn't know what to do with myself. I was suffering from depression, sleeping on the couch, not eating. And within 3 weeks, I called my producers and co-writers. I was like, I don't know what I was like, I'm going to lose my mind if I don't do something. I'm gonna lose my mind. And I couldn't stand seeing my mom in pain. I couldn't stand being in pain. So I flew to Las Vegas, and that's when Goodbye was written from my father. And I don't know what happened, but after I wrote that song, it was like elating for me. I felt more proud of myself than I've ever felt in my entire music career, and that's saying a lot. It takes a special person it takes a tenacious person to get up from depression and go to work, and
Right.
To be honest, it was the greatest thing I could have ever done, because it actually saved me from going down a dark hole. Because I was very close to my father, and music is the only thing that has kept me from going under, from drowning. And yeah, I mean, and that same goes for the other traumatic thing that happened 3 months ago. I've written a new song about it called Red Flags. And even that, like just doing that made me feel like empowered, made me feel so much better. And it made me feel like a real artist. It's like, I don't want to bullshit. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse, but I don't want to bull anyone.
Bullshit them.
I don't want to lie to anyone. Yeah, I just don't want to lie to anyone with my music. And I would love to sing about things that I've actually been through. And so this was a rewarding and equally challenging experience for me, because I've never written about abused quite like I did in this song. And so I feel, you know, vindicated almost, and I feel like I needed to get that off my chest. And as an artist, the way to do that is write about it. And so I'm blessed to have that avenue, you know. And so I've written music and I've recorded other people's music, and it's literally it's kept me going, and it's kept me inspired. It's kept me living. It's kept me happy. Despite all the pain, I am actually doing so much better than I actually ever thought I would after the things that have happened. I'm doing actually amazingly well. And I have my mother to thank and my boyfriend now to thank for that, and my family. I don't know what I would have done without them in this crazy time. But back to your question, yes, music is the heal all. You know, I think for anyone, even if you're not an artist, there's a song for every emotion, there's a song for every feeling, there's a song for every you know, predicament that you find yourself in. You know, that's just how I feel. One day I'll listen to a heavy metal song, the next day I'll listen to opera. It just depends. It depends on what you need, you know? It really depends on what you need. And that music is always there for me. It's never abandoned me. It's never left my side. It's never let me down. And that's why I think it's the heal all.
Yeah. Going through those things, you think in the process of the therapeutic process of writing about it and getting it out, has it made you, and you know, I've always been a huge fan of you as an artist and as a human being. Do you think that
which I appreciate.
This is, I got you, girl. Has this made you a better artist? Do you think, going through all these things and then being able to write about it? Do you feel
100%? Oh my God, 100%. Like I am night and day from what I used to be, and that's so sad to say about my former self, because I'm proud of all of the work that I've accomplished. I really am. I've come a long way. It's made me who I am, but oh Jesus, going through terrible things has actually really made me it's made me stronger, but it's also made me more artistic and embracing the sad stuff, like, you know, taking something awful and making it into something beautiful. I think that's very hard to do, and I think that that's something, you know, that you yourself have to go through before you can do it. You know, you can't sing about a heartbreak song and have it be real if you haven't actually been heartbroken. And I'm just a firm believer in that. And anyway, so all the pain, yes, and all of the ups and downs they have definitely made me a better writer, a better artist. They've even made my singing better. Even like you can hear the pain in my voice, and you can hear the happiness too. You'll hear, you know, when I put things out, you'll be able to establish that yourself and be able to see that I have changed, and I'm really happy that I'm, you know, kind of rising from my ass a little bit like a phoenix. You know, I'm definitely proud of myself, and that's something I've never been able to say up until this month. I would say, even or last month, I would say I've definitely gone through a lot, and so I'm very happy with where it's brought me. I definitely feel like a better artist and a more honest artist as well.
No, I think you know what that leads to, I think, when you have that real experience that you write about, that you portray the emotion on when you're recording a song. My feeling is, and this is the feeling I get from different music that hits me in a certain way, is that the fan, the listener that hears that and can find a relatable like piece of their story in it, that connection is nearly instantaneous. They're like, yeah, that girl went through some shit. You know, I mean, she knows where I'm coming from.
But and so exactly, you just said it. So do a lot of people. That's why I write about, you know, my dad's death was personal to me, but the song Goodbye is not just about his death. It could be about a breakup. It could be about saying goodbye to a shit year. It could be whatever the person needs it to be. You know, kerosene is another one. It's like, I know so many of my listeners can relate. You know, we've all had terrible relationships. I am no, you know, special person. Everyone's gone through something terrible or awful or heartbreaking. If they've lived long enough, they've seen enough. And I try to do that with my music. Make it relatable, make it stuff that people go, oh, thank you for writing things like this. Crazy House, I've gotten so many messages of that have killed me. It like makes me cry. Of these kids still in school that get bullied and picked on for being different. This just happened the other day. I had a message on Instagram saying, "You saved my life with that song because I don't want to go to school anymore. I'm getting bullied severely for being different." He's this gorgeous gay kid who happens to like wearing makeup, right? There's no harm in that. And he came out to me saying, all about bullying and how Crazy House saved him. And that is the reason why I'm an artist. It's not for me. It's for whoever wants to listen to me. And there's nothing more rewarding than helping somebody else. Nothing, and if you are able to do that, then do that.
I think that's, hearing that, and I mean, that has to be, you said rewarding. I think that's an understatement of how, knowing that you put something out there.
I'm emotional.
Try the eyes, girl. Try the eyes. It's gonna run.
I know. I'm like, shit. No, my makeup was so perfect. Yeah. Anyway,
that's got to be like outside of, and maybe even more so. I mean, when you're at a show, and I know you've had a chance to play big stages like Rockfest and other places where you have a bunch of fans, and that environment that's a different kind of energy. But to have something, when you have something that's like super personal, that's super life-changing, one-on-one conversation because of something that you put out, like rewarding has to be, I mean,
totally
making you emotional. It's got to be
totally
crazy.
Oh, it was emotional. I bawled. I took snapshots and sent them to my mom. I was like, and I've gotten these messages before, but this one especially touched me, and I don't know why, because I've gotten similar messages, but I think it was just the vulnerability that he showed and the honesty and purity that this person showed. It's like people are awful in this world and sick, and I feel sorry for bullies because obviously there's something so wrong in their own life that they have to tear someone down. And when he came and messaged me, I was like, that's incredible that someone can really put themselves out like that and show something so personal. It's why people commit suicide, is because they're unable to speak to people. So when he messaged me, of course I'm gonna be like overwhelmed. And like you said, it's a very different feeling. It's amazing to be on a stage with people singing your lyrics back at you. That's like the greatest thing ever. But when you have individual people that are touched by something you wrote, and it changed their life, that's why I do it. It's not for big crowds. It is for the individuals. It is for the people that need it. It's for the people that feel better when they listen to my art. That's what it's about,
How is your mom doing? I mean, let's get down to why we're really here.
Why we're really here. She's the most important thing.
This is really.
I love it.
You put her on Instagram. Now she's on Insta all the time, and
I wish she was actually, Mom. No, she's in her room. I'll have her come here in a second if she wants to. She's in bed. She's not feeling great today, but I brought her some split pea soup. But she's amazing. My mother has gotten me through the most god-awful times in my life, and then she's also gotten me through times where she should really be focusing on herself. And when my father died, it still is, she's still in agony, but when it happened, how she handled it, I look up to her, because I wouldn't, if I lost my significant other of almost 30 years, I wouldn't be well. I would be very sick and possibly just, not function. But she has been so strong for my brother and I. It's really beautiful to watch, and I know she's in pain every day, but she is thinks it's selfish to show it, and she always is so there for me and there for my brother, and she's incredible. And after what happened 3 months ago, she is so happy to see me back on my feet. She was worried about me for a good 6 months, and she really tried to pull me out of things. And it's it's just great to see her comfortable and happy. And she's just amazing. She's the most amazing person I know, and you've met her. She's so
I have.
special. She's
Mhm.
so special. I just looked at the clock. It's 5:55. I love it. Angels. Anyway, she's so special, and I don't know what I would do. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what I would do without her. I really don't. I would be very lost, and I'm sure she says hello to you, and I know
Mm.
she absolutely adores you and the ground that you walk on. So,
Well,
yeah.
it's always moms. They always make a great impression with the moms. That's always my like, oh,
Hey, you made a great impression with me too.
I
I'm
did. Well, you let
sure.
me the first time I interviewed you, you let me. I think you had a hat. You let me wear it, and that was like you're like,
Oh my
oh,
God, yes, we have
yeah,
pictures of this. Yeah, I
do.
remember. I remember I had no voice. I canceled the rest of the shows. That was the day. I was like, this is my last appearance for a long time, and I need to go see a vocal doctor. Stat. And I remember it was bittersweet because I was like, please don't fuck up. Please don't mess up. Please don't mess up. Because we had to do that live show for you.
Yeah.
Um, and I was so sick and I had no voice. And I'm like, oh man, God be with me. And it actually ended up being a great show. And it was really fun. And I got to know you, and we had a fun interview, like really fun.
You
And
did. Yeah.
yeah, you're just a good person though. You are so great and so supportive. And I watch how you support other artists, and it's really inspiring. And I love you, but it's great to watch you interact with others, and you're just really cool, dude.
The heart
You're
thing.
cool. You're a cool cat.
Cool cat.
Yes,
Cool cat from way
heart.
back.
I would use my other hand, but I'm holding
I
a
know,
new
but
phone, so
the phone would fall
pretend.
and you'd
Here,
see the
here, we
floor.
can connect it. Here, kind of. Well, no, not
I gotta
really,
go do it.
actually. How do I?
Uh,
No, this way.
you gotta
No,
use the
wait,
other
hold
hand.
on.
This is yeah.
Ah,
There we go. Yeah.
no, I tried. Don't
Yeah.
even bother.
That's good.
Don't even.
Hey, we made the
Our
attempt. That's
heart's in the
all
right
that
place.
matters. All that matters. No,
Yeah.
I think when it comes to supporting artists like you and all the artists that I continue to have relationships with, it's this connection on a deeper level that is more than just, hey, I'm the guy that used to play your music on XYZ radio station, because there's
Yeah.
many of those guys and gals that are out there doing that stuff. But there was, the ones that I hold near and dear to me, that I'm close to, are I still talk to this day. Obviously they've been on the show, but it's really given me a great perspective on true artistry and what it takes to make it and have success in the industry that is music. Because
Oh,
if
it
it's
takes
all,
patience. It takes
yeah,
tenacity. It takes it's
yeah,
not overnight for 99.9%. It's like an uphill battle, constantly.
yeah,
Always
everybody thinks,
fighting for new inventions, especially during COVID. Like
right,
like what are we supposed to do? You're always having to. The you know the music industry is always changing, forever changing, and you have to keep up with it.
yeah, everybody thought they were going to be like the next, they saw a Motley Crue video and they're like, yeah, I'm going to be everybody wants to be Motley Crue. Like, come on, who doesn't
I
want to do
know.
that? And everybody kept
Yeah,
trying, and it was
and
like, oh,
color code Eminem in the tour
yeah,
bus.
yeah. And
Yeah, that
it's,
story.
when they read the book, they're like, maybe I don't want to do that. I don't know. Maybe that's not such a
Yeah,
great thing. But there's a
maybe
real,
not.
I think the genuine one, there's a lot of genuine artists out there, yourself included,
Totally.
and people
Thank
that
you.
I know, but there's some that are not so much. And I like to
Yeah,
support them. They know that are not just doing this because they want to be Motley Crue or they want to be I want them to achieve that level of success and that level of,
yeah,
fandom, and be able to have their music heard, on a global scale. But if you're
yeah,
doing it the right way and doing good things and you're a good human being, I mean, I feel
yeah.
like I'm going to probably connect with them more than others.
Yeah, and to be honest, you yourself, it is also about people like you as well, though. It's not just about the artists. We need Coopers in the world, because you are the ones that keep us going and keep us alive and play our music and support us and keep asking for interviews when we're, stuck doing nothing. And also, you are so cute, y'all. He's so cute. He will send me just randomly out of the blue. Haven't heard from him in like a month, whatever, and he'll just send a heart, just a heart. It's just so cute. I was like, it's so adorable and so sweet, and it's good that it makes me feel good that you think of me, and you're just a really good person and very supportive, and I appreciate it.
So I think sometimes like I have several of your songs on a couple different playlists of mine, and like it'll pop on, and I'm like, hold.
I know her.
I know, girl. I know, girl.
Heart emoji. Yeah.
See, but we've talked a lot about some of the not so great things about not necessarily COVID, but all the other stuff that you've had going on the last year plus. But it seems like following along with your with you on social media mostly, but there's been a lot of good. I know you and your mom are out doing a lot of traveling for a while and having fun and laughing and so you got a new man in your life now, and he's wanting to get a fucking
well, what's funny is he's not new. We met each other 5 years ago, and we were good friends, and he ended up ghosting me within a year. It was right, like literally disappeared. We went out. There was one night. I know he's watching this too. He's in the room with my mother right now. Tyler. Anyway, so yeah, he ghosted me, and I was like, wow. And we had known each other for like, he trained my dad. He trained me. He played rock band with my brother. Like, we knew each other well. We were good friends, and we ended up going out one night to the movies. We were bowling, all that stuff. And I went to hold his hand, and he acted really, really weird. Anyway, like a week later, he drops off the face of the earth. Like, I'm blocked everywhere. No explanation, just gone with the wind. No pun intended. But yeah, he's gone. Anyway, in October, I get a message on Instagram. This fast forward 5 years, where I'd forgotten about it. I'm like, whatever, It was weird, and it bothered me for a while because I didn't understand. I get a message on Instagram like saying, I really thought I should reach out to apologize to you, and I saw your father died. I feel awful. And he sent me like Bible length apology and a reason, an explanation, because I didn't understand, and it was because he had a girlfriend and she was not a fan of our friendship. So that kind of ended. Anyway, so I got the apology, and we started chatting, and I was still in a relationship at this point, so I was like, this isn't anything, but it's nice that I got an apology from this person. Then fast forward to a horrible moment in my life, and he was there for me from the very beginning, as a friend, like literally as a friend. I flew to New York and was showing up at my apartment at 2 a.m. with ice cream because I was panicking and crying and depressed, and the next day would come over and just order Chinese food, and he'd just try and make me feel better, just constantly there for me. And I've never seen anything like that with a friend or a boyfriend. He is definitely easily top 3 most special people I know. And so many people say that he reminds them of my dad, which is amazing to me because my dad was very special. And anyway, long story short is we made it official on Valentine's Day that we are boyfriend and girlfriend. I needed time to heal from my past. So did he. And we both agreed that, we should wait before we do anything like that. And now here we are in the greatest relationship I've ever found myself in. And yeah, he's very special to me. And I don't know what I would have done without him the past 3 months. I really don't. He has busted his butt for me night and day. I can't even begin. I'm sure you saw my post. Like, I'll go on about him forever. Like, and I've never been that way about anyone, but he's very special. And I'm not used to the treatment that he's given me. I'm just not used to it. I didn't know how to accept it. I've not been treated well in the past, so it's kind of it makes me feel really good, and I feel very self-confident again, and I feel all things that I should be feeling about myself and for someone else, and it's healthy, and that's all I could ask for, you know? So yeah, we're actually gonna go to Target after this lovely interview and go get some groceries. We're gonna cook for grandma um, tomorrow and cook some steaks. So
Nice.
yes.
But d-
But yeah, like
have
you
you?
were saying, things are going well. Like things are
Mm,
actually going well. Like karma is real, fate is real, and you know, private stuff we'll talk about privately, but I'm doing shockingly okay. I've been in PTSD therapy for what's gone down. And I never believed in therapy. I was against it, and then I realized I actually needed it.
mm,
And I suggest it for anyone who's been through something traumatizing. And you know, and I've gotten very close with my family through these times. And the music I've been making is the best I've been making so far. And so I would say that I'm doing well, and I've developed new friends. I have the most amazing new manager. So I'm happy, you know, like as a whole, I
mm.
think A plus for the turnout of what has happened in my life. And it was unexpected, but that's the best things in life though, right? The unexpected
That's what they
things. So
say.
yeah,
So
they're right.
I,
Whoever says it.
I'm wondering, is it going to be like, is it going to go with the neck tattoo of your name? Because I think that's probably a good
Oh
spot.
my God, so that's so funny that you said that. It's so funny that you said that. So
Go
we
with
were
the
actually discussing this. Well, we were discussing this last night, and I was like, I don't want anything on your neck. Like, I just don't. Leave it alone. You already have the Italian flag on the back of your neck, and I don't want anything on your feet. Like, just whatever's not tattooed, leave it not tattooed unless. I call him a human doodle because he really is. And I'm like, and I was like, Luz, I deserve at least 3 tattoos, at least. I was like, it
Wow.
should make a difference to you because you're literally like covered, so it shouldn't make a difference. And we were actually talking about it last night, and one of our things is sunflowers, and
Mm.
he's gonna probably do a sunflower on his ribs, like right around that area. That's gonna hurt like a nuts. I told him I was like, yeah, I'm just getting even with you for
Ah,
ghosting me for 5 years. But that's one of them. There's one I want him to get filled one day, but that's down the road, and
mm.
it's a special one behind his ear, which I won't explain to you, but it is a beautiful thing. And then the other one is personal and graphic, and I'm not gonna say it on camera. So anyway, yeah, but the sunflower is the one that I really want. So yeah,
Not
he's gonna do it. No names or anything. That's like bad luck,
right.
I think. But yeah, I can't actually believe I'm getting a tattoo dedicated to me. I feel
I
from a
know.
boyfriend. Like I've the fan thing that I've seen it all. But do you remember that guy, Cooper, that got my face and the whole "I hate you" thing on his stomach?
Oh yes. I
Oh
remember.
my God, I was like, how are you gonna be in a relationship ever? Like, you can never take your shirt off. Could you imagine my face looking at whoever? I can't. Anyway, so I've seen it all, but no, I never had a boyfriend get a tattoo for me. So I'm all woo. I'm very excited. I'm very
Uh,
excited about it.
I'm glad. I'm glad you went with the most painful spot on the human body to get a tattoo.
I know, right? I'm like,
Like, right in the
good. He's
ribs.
like, this is gonna hurt so bad. He
Yeah,
said, he's like,
it's
this
the
is
worst.
gonna hurt so bad. And I'm like, good. Like it
I know.
should hurt. You know, I deserve that. You know, I deserve that after you disappearing on me. So we agree. So
So
anyway, back to what you were saying. Yes,
that's
life is good. I'm happy. I'm very happy actually. Happiest I've been since my dad passed away. And that's saying a lot. So, you know, everything's good.
good. That makes me happy. It makes me happy that you're happy.
Yeah, I am. I am. And also very sweaty at the moment. It got very warm in here. I don't know
Yeah.
why. Anyway, I'm
We
always
don't,
freezing except right now.
we don't have
Uh,
that problem in Wisconsin right now. It's just
no, it's
super cold.
freezing there.
No.
Oh, how cold is it right now?
It's actually it was warm today. Right now it's 16 degrees, so it's like warm.
16
Uh,
degrees.
yeah, it's warm.
And I'm bitching. I was bitching at Lou because he took me on this gorgeous vacation to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and it started blizzarding on the last day, and I was like, "This is full." And it was only like 32 or 30, 31, and I was just like like a shivering little lamb, just helpless. And you're telling me 16 degrees? I would kill myself. I would literally, I can't. My mom loves the cold. I can't deal with it. I'm done with it. I'm sick of winter right now. I'm sick of it. I'm getting angry. I'm like slapping my headphones on the table. Yeah.
No, it's then the whole like most of the country's like going through this too. Like Texas has got the first like big snowstorm in forever, and they got no power. Yeah, it's wild.
Well, I'm in Georgia right now, and I'm gonna go to New York on Sunday, so that's back to freaking freezing. I mean, Georgia's cold, right? Like for Georgia, Atlanta, it was like 38 yesterday, which is weird. For Atlanta, it's weird. But yeah, going to New York, which is freezing, notoriously freezing in the winters. So wish me luck. Gonna cry, but
you got plenty of nice scarves and poofy, jackets, and you
put my big girl pants on.
And put big girl pants on and go back to New York, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, dude, stay warm.
No, well, it's all we have no choice. There's options are limited right now, but I do want to say thank you for hanging out and jumping on and conversating.
Thank you.
Telling me stories and
I missed you.
Hey, Rockfest is still on the calendar for this year.
I'm spazzing, so excited for it. Like spazzing about it. So yeah. If it gets canceled this year, you're gonna see a grown girl get real not happy. I will do something, and I don't know what I'll do yet, but you're.
And it'll be a come apart.
Yeah, you're gonna be my first phone call and be like, Cooper, let's storm the castle, raid, rage, grab our troops and go in, put on the concert anyway.
We're gonna do it anyway. We're just gonna break through the fences.
Do it anyway.
Just their own show. It'll be fine. No one will notice.
Yeah.
But hey, my best to Mom and to Lou, and I'm so happy for you and the spot you're in. That guys, thank you for tuning in. I'm so happy for the spot that you're in, and I can't wait for all this music that you're just like hovering over and keeping from the ears of the public. You get to hear it all.
It's such a tease.
You are. You're just like, I got new music. You can't hear it.
But, do you not realize it's painful for me? Like, God, I want it out. Trust me. Yeah. I don't want to sit on it.
There's a plan.
I'm sick of hearing myself. So yeah, but I love you and thank you for having me again. Yeah. Hopefully you'll have me back when I release some stuff and we'll chat again.
Absolutely. You're always welcome, Rach.
I love you. How's your son doing?
He's good. He's he's going to go to MIT and take over the world someday. So I'm not really afraid. And he's,
sounds good.
Super duper smart kid. He's doing well. He's been through his share of stuff this past year as well. So he's just kind of going. I can imagine. He's like, it's cool, Dad. Let's take something apart and build something back up. I'm like, okay.
So, well, he's the rock star then.
Yes, he keeps me afloat. So take care of yourself and let's chat soon. Okay? I'll be back.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Right. Love you, Cooper.
Yeah, you
Bye.
Too. Bye. Rachel Lorin on the program. Thank you to her for jumping on, and thank you to all of you for hanging out in all of the different areas you can be hanging out in, Facebook and YouTube and on the Twitch as well. We are going to take a short break. Come up, we'll wrap up the show, talk about a big Thursday and Friday that we have planned for the program, and even some stuff looking into next week as we get ready for 2 weeks in. Still on the air. Well, still on the interwebs. So no. We'll take a break. Be right back. And we're back on the live show. Thank you for all for hanging out, tuning in after that short break. And thanks to Rachel Lorin for being on and chatting it up. I know she was a little laggy from running on her cell phone there, so I'm guessing that's probably a cell service thing, perhaps. But great to catch up with her and all the stuff she's got going on at Rachel Lorin Music on the Instagram and also on the on Facebook. So go find her. New music coming out, as she said, in a couple of weeks. Great story about the song that she wrote for her dad, and it's cool stuff. It's cool to see her growth as an artist over the last, I think it's been 5 years. She said 4. I'm thinking it's been 5. But very cool story. And if you missed any of it, of course, the video lives on in infamy on Twitch and on YouTube. And of course, we share that on the Facebook page as well. A lot of new additions today to all of the social media outlets that we stream on. So thank you all for jumping on board and for your support, continued support. We got a big show coming up tomorrow and a big show coming up on Friday as well. We'll get to some of that. But I did just come across this, and I'm glad. I shouldn't say I'm glad. I kind of wish this would have happened in the U.S., but unfortunately this happened overseas in England. Because this has been, and I don't watch like regular network TV unless like there's a game on or something I want to catch, and usually that's football, and we're kind of out of that right now. But there's a lot of like really stupid fucking shows on right now. I mean, am I wrong? Mass singer, mass dancer. So you think you can dance? So you think you can sing? Just Dancing with the Stars, like all that stuff. However, England takes the cake when it comes to, I have a really stupid idea. Let's do this and put it on television. The show, Dancing on Ice. So the premise, from what I'm gathering from this story, is that they got some celebrities together that likely have little to no experience in the art and sport of figure skating. Okay. And decided we are going to make a show learning how to figure skate and then do, those figure skating routines that you see in the Olympics, Winter Olympics. Well, so they debuted this show on Valentine's Day over in the UK. It's according to The Sun. Debuted the show. 2-hour debut of Dancing on Ice. Celebrities learning how to figure skate. And then figure skate dance, whatever it's called. 2-hour show. 19 minutes of which was actually footage of celebrities skating. Why? Because nobody could do it. In fact, many of the celebrities they had on the show were forced to leave the show because they hurt themselves trying to figure skate. So instead of saying, this was a bad idea, let's pull the plug. Well, we already got all this footage. 19 minutes of footage of figure skating. The rest was, I don't know. Oh, sorry, 18 minutes and 53 seconds. Some of it was just like 2 minutes and 30 seconds was a clip of somebody else, some professional whizzing around the rink. It's like, this is how the professionals do it. Keep rolling that footage because we only have 16 minutes plus to air of celebrities dancing on ice. Why do we do this? Like, if you are a fan of a celebrity, you're probably a fan of a celebrity for something that they do in a particular field. Maybe they're an athlete. Maybe they're a singer. Maybe they're a artist. Maybe they're an actor or an actress. That's why you like them, because of their role in this. Sometimes in America, we like to do this. Sometimes they're like, wasn't Carol Baskin on Dancing with the Stars? We made her a celebrity. We did by watching Tiger King. Bitch, Carol Baskin, who killed her husband. Now let's put her on a TV show where she learns how to dance. So it's not even celebrity. So maybe those people don't count. But you like them for the particular genre or arena that they are in. You like them for this particular reason. Why do we decide that we should put them into different situations and maybe we'll like them then more? It feels like less. Even Donald Driver. I'm a huge Donald Driver fan. When he was a Green Bay Packer, it was great. And then he was on Dancing with the Stars. I didn't watch the show. He won the whole thing. He got the ball, whatever, the trophy. Great. I read the story the next day. And I watched a clip of it, and it was just the end after, like, yeah, Donald Driver and so-and-so. And that was it. I don't know. And now we have the mask. Now we're doing masks on people, which is all the rage. Masks are all the rage now. Wear 5. Masked dancer. A masked singer. Especially if it's not somebody who typically sings. Like, why are we doing this? I don't understand. But apparently they're still very popular because people still watch them religiously. If they didn't, you'd think they'd pull the plug. I mean, there are so many things to watch. I told you about the series that we just started watching last night, Man in the High Castle. It came out 6 years ago. Like, watching that over lip syncing with the stars. That's not a thing. Okay. Not yet. There's a show like that, isn't there? What is that called? So you can sing, you can't sing. Mass singer? No, that's already a thing. But they have people like that lip sync. Regular Joes and Janes lip syncing to a song, and then the judges have to guess if they really think that's really their voice or if they can't sing. I blame TikTok. For making it a thing. I don't know. I don't do the TikTok. It's not my Not my wheelhouse. Oh, what else is going on in the world? We talked about we talked a lot. Actually, when I had Jonathan Wichmann on, we talked about cancel culture and stuff, and we talked about the Gina Carano thing, and I mentioned that Hasbro, the toy company, is dismantling or just halting their creation of the Cara Dune character figurine, because obviously she's been fired from Disney. And Jonathan made some great points about cancel culture and gaslighting. And if you missed any part of that episode, again, the video will live on YouTube and Twitch and on Facebook. We'll be posting that after the show is done today. But it really is, and I don't think people have a realization of how thin of ice that we're walking on when you talk about the cancel culture, the infringement on freedom of speech. For somebody who I won't say talks for a living, because this doesn't make a living just yet, but for somebody who talks and wants to have a platform to talk, and definitely wants to give other people a platform to talk, whether it's Jonathan Wichmann or it's Rachel Lorin or it's Kyle Woodman or it's Jesse James Dupree from Jackal, who's going to be on tomorrow. He'll be all excited. He'll say things like "Pow," and it's going to be fun. The guys in Otherwise are going to perform coming up on Friday for a little happy hour sesh that we're going to do. Like, it's a platform, it's a conversation, but it really just takes one thing that I say that somebody who happens to tune in doesn't like, or even something that one of my guests says that somebody maybe doesn't like or doesn't agree with. That's all it takes. And then the show gets reported, and who knows? Gets taken down. There are plenty of stories. Tim Pool is a fantastic podcaster. Tim Pool Daily, the IRL podcast, Tim Pool IRL podcast, he does that too. 2 different podcasts that he does. And it's a political commentary show. So he'll read a political story and he give his commentary on it. And he's, kind of more liberal or kind of more independent than anything, but he's got criticism of both sides. And recently they demonetized his Facebook page. He can't, there's ways to make money, whether it's through ad revenue or something on different social media sites, and Facebook took away his ability to monetize that particular avenue. That's kind of scary. I mean, if you're in a position like me, or you have a live stream, or you have a Twitch page that you're doing stuff on, and it doesn't, something you say or a guest says, or a thought that you have, or something that's completely taken out of context. You could be reading something and just that part can get clipped, and they can run with that and demonetize your platform or shut your page down, ban you from Twitter. It's okay. I don't really use a Twitter. It's fine. Take away my account. I have like 10 followers or something like that. Don't take it down. But it's a scary world to live in, when you have all these things at your disposal. You have Facebook at your disposal. You have Instagram. You have Twitch and YouTube and Twitter and Clubhouse and Parler or whatever. Yet what it's become, this is the argument, what it's become is a place where, this is where social connection happens. This is a way of getting word out, telling news stories, giving information, factual and or not. I mean, if it's not factual, we'll have the fact checkers come. Well, whatever. Is that even real? But they could take away your right to be on one of those platforms because of an opinion that you have. Imagine the world if, the anti-mask population, not even anti-mask. I think that's a big misnomer about people that don't, are against like a mask mandate, is they're not anti-mask. Nobody's telling you not to wear a mask. It's the fact that somebody else in an authoritative position is telling us what to do. And if you think that's wrong, you're able to speak that opinion. But if you say it's wrong in so many different ways, Gina Carano had posted something about not believing in wearing a mask. just her opinion. Doesn't have to be yours. It was part of it. It's part of what started the whole firestorm. But imagine something you say in context or out of context can be flagged, and you could no longer have your page, your platform, your place you share recipes with people. What would you do? They took that away. It's a kind of a scary world to be living in. A little bit. But we'll do our best and keep on keeping on. And I'll tell you what, it raises challenges as we try to build some sponsors for the show. We talk about what the show is about. And I'm like, well, let me talk to people, let people say what they want to say, and have open conversation about it. Seems like pretty straightforward. Artists, musicians, politicians, business owners, entrepreneurs, magicians. Magicians be cool. Well, geez, in this landscape, got an email today from a potential sponsor that I had reached out to. Longtime friend of my programs and things that I've done. And it was, the context was like, well, we're going to be doing a little bit less. We want bigger, but we want less. So really what I, kind of took out of that was it's not supporting the up and comer, because could be a loose cannon. Who knows the shit I could say at any point, It's, well, we really want people that we know what they're going to say. Maybe that's just how I took it. Like, we want people whose content we know is going to be live in the safe zone, never step outside of the safe zone. Okay. That's a scary world to be living in, when you only have people in the bubble worthy of companies believing in them. Scary. It may be the reason that this show comes to a point where it can no longer function on its own. It has to change. It has to alter. It has to become less. It maybe comes to a point where we make it a donation thing. Donate to the cause. Keep us on the air. Keep us on the streams. Computer malfunctions, technology, the interwebs, being funky. Maybe that's the weather. Who knows? Maybe it's Big Brother watching. Slow your internet service down so you can't talk about legalizing cannabis in the state of Wisconsin. Okay. But that may have to be the case. If you can't find companies to work with that, support the First Amendment and support free speech and support a platform where you're going to be able to say what you want to say. Feels like a world you should be living in. You should be able to say what you want to say. But you can't. There could be backlash. Could be fallout. Could be scary. I just noticed that my logo wasn't up there. See if we can pop that back. There it is. See, it's all coming back to me now. We got the scroll, so we're okay there. But yeah, it's kind of a crazy world. And that's why I think you need to have a real good understanding of the Constitution and the First Amendment, because I think you need to understand your rights. It's really that simple, and the rights of others. And whether you believe in it, I mean, currently the Constitution is the law of the land. And if it's being violated now, and for something that you're for, you're like, yeah, well, it should be because we're in a pandemic. Damn it. We should wait till it's something that you're not in favor of. Then get back to me. When they take away something else that you are like, wait, this doesn't feel right. Get back to me then. Talk to me then. Then we can have an open forum conversation about that. Like, well, it was okay when they were screwing you, but now they're screwing me. It's not okay. What? It's not fair and balanced. I don't believe it. Don't believe it whatsoever. I don't know. Has there been any alien sightings? I mean, let's get down to it. Nothing in the world of aliens. Like, kind of upsetting. There was that release a couple of days ago about the Pentagon admitting to some researcher, so I'm about 70% sure on it, that they have physical pieces and parts of spacecraft, and it's some new wave, funky, amazing technology that could change life forever. Yeah, we've got it. We got it in a safe spot. We're working on stuff. Claiming it could be from the 1947 crash at Roswell. That's the kind of stuff, man. Shouldn't have to waste portions of the show talking about the First Amendment because it's the First Amendment. It should just be a thing that's fine. Don't have to talk about it because it's just there. But no, you got to talk about it because it's all part of cancel culture. Well, they deserve to be canceled. They hurt other people's feelings. Well, other people hurt feelings too. Nobody cancels them. It's not an equal playing field. That's all I'm saying. I just really can't believe there's nothing on aliens. Oh, this is interesting. Where did that story go now? I hate when it jumps like that. Nah. We'll find it. We'll work on it for tomorrow's show. So there is a lot of praise coming out of the state of Florida. They're saying that DeSantis down there could possibly be in line to run for president in 2024 from his handling of COVID, because basically everything in Florida is open and has been open. Kids are in school, open for business. I think they do have some. I think there's some social distancing stuff, but masks aren't required. Open. The most elderly population in the country, state of Florida. And about the middle of the death rate percentage in Florida. Again, you're dealing with a super high population of elderly, so that 65 plus crowd. But DeSantis is been not only preaching about no lockdowns and being against, kind of the status quo of a lot of the other governors and stuff of each state, but he's also been really pushing big tech, Facebook, Twitter, Google, and the others, because he is feeling like there may be a little bit of bias. And he wants to know why the bias. And this isn't just Trump. This is a long list of people that have been ousted by Twitter, banned on Facebook, demonetized on YouTube for having an opinion that differs from, say, the opinion of those who are in control of all of those platforms. He's big. He's calling to the fire, man. He wants to have some big discussions and changes and clarifications on what these services are. What are these services that we use on a daily basis? Are they, these companies that can do whatever they want, make their own rules? Are they so big that they need to be regulated by the government? And I'm not sure that he talks about government regulation, gets a little freaked out about the whole thing. But when you have these platforms that are supposed to be free and open and ways to have dialogue, even though I've said on this show, this is the best place to do it. 3 hours a day just to talk. If you've got something to say, jump in the comments. We'll bring you on. But when you're only able to have it in 250 characters or 280, whatever it is on Twitter, and contextually, it's hard to decipher on Facebook. You ever try to read comments, like a long thread of comments on Facebook? You get like jump somewhere in the middle and somebody's yelling at somebody else. You're like, wait, how do I get to the beginning of this chaos? Mm-hmm. But what is it? Is this like air? Do we all have the right? And if we all have the right, shouldn't we all have the same rights and be able to say things? I don't know. But DeSantis is fighting back. This is the story I was looking for. Facebook is banning Australians from sharing news in war with its publishers. Facebook announced Wednesday, that's today, it will no longer allow publishers and users in Australia to share or view news articles in response to a new proposed media law in the country. With the legislation, the Australian government is seeking to require online platforms like Google and Facebook to pay news outlets for displaying and linking to their content. Those in favor of the law say the rules are needed to protect the public interest journalism by making sure outlets are paid for content on social media and search engine users who read and share those stories. So what they're saying is if you are reading a news story on your social media site, you follow CNN or Fox News or MSNBC, whatever you follow. What Australia is saying is that those news outlets should be paying for those stories to be seen by the public, because the chances are if they are paying for them, the content will be a little more true. They won't be just throwing garbage up all the time, perhaps. So in retaliation of that, Facebook is now banning Australians from sharing news stories. So if you see a news story like, this is juicy, better share this. Machine Gun Kelly wears Megan Fox's blood around her neck. Sharing that story. My friends will love that. 6 months. It's written down. Where's my notepad? 6 months. See? 6 months. That's how long I give it. Let me tell you, wearing somebody else's blood around your neck, not in a cool vampire way, you got half a year. So the battle rages on. I know there's other countries that are going against Facebook and Google for their policies, and Google especially under fire for how the algorithm, how it brings what you search for, what comes up first. We all think so. We all think it's fine. That's fine. Doesn't matter. If I Google for something, I don't really use Google much anymore. I'm more of a DuckDuckGo guy myself. DuckDuckGo doesn't share what you search for on the social media platform. It's actually really cool. I know I've talked about it on here before, but it's like a search engine. So it's like Google, search for something and it will tell you whatever you're searching for, the sites that were blocked from gaining access to what you search for. So, you search for like vacuum cleaner, and then vacuum cleaner comes up the next time or comes up in a side ad on Google, or it comes up in your Facebook feed. You're like, wait a minute, how do they know? I Googled it. All your information is for sale, people. That's where the money is. We are the money. We are the product, not the consumer. It's a great story on that. I got to find that and bring that up next time. But DuckDuckGo, just boom, boom, yeah, we blocked Google, Facebook, and somebody else from finding out what you were searching for, so you don't see that crap. So I used that, searched up Man in the High Castle, so I could remember the name of it. But now I won't see that show pop up, in my feed, because I searched for it on DuckDuckGo and didn't use Google. But I'm telling you, it's crazy times. We're not. I think we forget sometimes, and especially I think the kids forget, younger generations forget, like we didn't have this kind of stuff when we were growing up. And this isn't like an aging myself thing or an aging you thing. We didn't have this kind of stuff. And the fact that it's gone from not having this stuff at all to America Online discs coming in the mail. Remember that? Tied up the phone line and you put it in your computer. It's like, people would make a phone call, be like, where do you get off the internet? It'd take you like 12 minutes to get to like the homepage of AOL. To now, everything instantaneous and super fast and 5G and and screens and different apps. So much of it. Like, I don't know that if it would have progressed a little slower, slower progression, we could ease into it, be like, okay, this is how we do this, but it explode and continues to explode. And I mean, it's just faster and faster every day. More information, all hours a day, different sources. I try to, grab a couple of news stories throughout the course of the day and save the story so we know what to talk about. Like, I'll save 10 to 15 stories and maybe come back to like, well, that was kind of dumb. That wasn't really worth it. But there's so much out there. I mean, there's so much out there, and same stories with different vantage points, different viewpoints, different spins on it. It's just wild. Like, I'm not sure our brains are really made to process information at this rate, but it has to, strangely enough. And the scary part comes in when you're not able to find multiple sources of information on one topic. Jesse Westover, what's up, brother? Thanks for jumping in on here. Thanks for watching. But just a lot to, that's why we have this show, is to be able to bring these things to open forum conversation and be like, this doesn't seem right. Because I think open forum conversations, like, I potentially had the next governor of the state of Wisconsin on this show today, Jonathan Wichmann, who's running in 2022. That's really how you create change for the better, is you have conversation. You're not going to make a whole lot of impact besides getting people banned and canceled by reporting them on social media. The change happens when you have open forum conversations with people and you learn about them and you learn about their point of view, and you can maybe come to an agreement, agree to disagree, shake hands, walk away, life's good. That, however, is not the world that we live in currently. We're more in a fuck you, I don't like what you think. Well, I'm going to do my own thing. I don't care. Okay. We're just not, doesn't seem like it's a good spot to be in, but happy to be able to bring forth some conversation and some dialogue and have different voices on the show. Speaking of voices, I have to thank the voices that were on the show today. That includes the aforementioned Jonathan Wichmann. WichmannForGovernor.com is the website. He is running again for the state of Wisconsin governor in 2022. Check him out on Facebook as well. He made a lot of great points and a lot of things that make sense. And, from everything from our financial future in the States to legalization of cannabis, talked about it all. Imagine that. We didn't just talk about COVID and just talk about masks. No, there's a whole bunch of other things we need to talk about. People forget that there's still other issues in the world. Jonathan Wichmann, WichmannForGovernor.com is his website. We're gonna have him back on. I got a feeling. Stay in touch. Rachel Lorin, my friend, fabulous artist, really upset that she's sitting on 30 new songs that I know they will be released eventually, and she's upset with that too. But she's got a whole bunch of new music coming out. If you haven't heard it yet, her cover of "The Way You Make Me Feel," the old Michael Jackson song, is legit fire. I'm trying to sound like a kid there. It's legit fire. It's total fire. But she had actually cut that song and arranged it like 4 or 5 years ago, because I'd heard it before. She sent me a copy of it many years ago. And I was like, damn, this is good. And she went through some, it wasn't the right time, went through some management changes, but finally just released that song. Go check it out. I know she's got it up on, clips of it up on her Instagram page, but go find the video for it as well. The Way You Make Me Feel, Rachel Lorin. And she's in a good spot. A crazy year, crazy, wild, up and down year, but she's in a good spot. And I thank her for taking the time out of her day to jump on here and have a great conversation about where she's at and how things are going. And follow her on her social media. It is Rachel Lorin Music on Instagram, and also I believe on the Facebook. Follow her. Great content, great music, always doing fun stuff. And so that was today's show. We press forward onto tomorrow's show, where my great friend and whiskey connoisseur, bourbon connoisseur, master of all things Papow, Full Throttle Saloon Shine, all the things, Jesse James Dupree, frontman from the band Jackal, and chainsaw aficionado. Genuinely awesome dude. He is going to be on the show tomorrow, so we'll have lots to talk about with him. More guests we're working on, getting some time scheduled. We'll release all that on the social media pages, so make sure you follow. I got to spend 3 hours of talking. Hang on a second. There we go. A little agua in there. So Jesse be on tomorrow. More guests coming up tomorrow. Make sure you follow on all the social media pages at No Limit Cooper Official on Instagram and at Cooperville Live on Instagram. Also, welcome to Cooperville on Facebook and YouTube channel. To search Cooperville, you'll be able to follow along on that. Subscribe, and please, if you have a Twitch account, jump on there, log on to your Twitch app, and go to No Limit Cooper. You just got to go to the search thing, No Limit Cooper. It's all one word. Jump on there, give a follow. We're growing our Twitch base on there. We're going to start doing actually next week on the show, if we're still on the air after the show. We're going to do like a 15-minute wrap up of things we learned on the show and a bunch of different cool stuff. That will be exclusively on Twitch right after the show starting next week. So to be involved with that and some exclusive content, make sure you follow along on Twitch. Just search for No Limit Cooper. Download the app. It is free on all of the platforms. Until we meet again, which is going to be tomorrow about this time. It's going to play some there we go. Throw some tunes on here. We will be right here. So follow. You'll get the update. We're going live, and you can be a part of it. Always join in the comments. Always love seeing what you got going on. Let's do it again tomorrow. Until we meet again, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another.